real Siberius, and we about to get serious. It's the real Siberius, making fanboys furious.
Welcome, everybody, to the Wednesday Live. As usual, we have Angry Ol' Hoops, Speam, and Sports and Fitness Rants in the house. As you guys can tell, I am on camera for the first fucking time. Enjoy it. It may never happen again. Robin, if you could do the shout-outs, I would appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Once again, man, it's great to be here. Another Wednesday live edition, man. Shout out to my man Speam. Shout out to the Czar of video footage, AOH. And shout out to the real Siberius, man, for throwing his face on camera, man. I know he doesn't really like to be on camera, but shout out to you, man, for coming on camera on this live, man. And once again, shout out to all you guys in the chat that continue to come through and support our channel, support this live stream. So shout out to Mad Dog 9208. Thank you very much for coming through. Dakota LaReed, my man, always coming through. Anthony Sanchez, old school NBA fan. Shout out to you. Shout out to Rookie 30590. Davian, shout out to you. My man M. Hunter, Stevie, what's up? Mike Lowry, the real Mike Lowry. Lynetta, a.k.a. Renee. My man CJ or CL Johnson. Shout out to you. Jimmy James, SC. And I know the rest of you guys are going to be coming in here. We just went live. You guys know that there's a lot to talk about today, man. I got a lot of things that I want to talk about. So you guys know the deal, man. Let's roll.
Yeah, this is going to be a packed day. I was going to say, I think we got a lot to cover. I think a lot of people got a lot of subjects. So let's give it a few just as people roll in, just so we can, make sure that we have an audience for all the things that we want to discuss. How's everybody doing? How's everybody handling the heat?
I'm blessed. I still have a little bit of microclimate here on the coast, but that's only going to last a couple more years.
What's up, Steve?
Likewise, just working on my tan over here, working on my tan. All good. Beautiful Wednesday, beautiful middle of the week. Happy to see you.
Yeah, man, listen, I'm living the dream. You guys know that I've been on vacation with my family for the last week and a half. I got a couple more days left of vacation. So once again, shout out to everybody that continues to come through. And I see people coming in right now. Amandro Reed, shout out to you, man. The Third Eye, 369. MJ Burke, Sovereign, 3351. Callie Young, Silk Ace, shout out to you. Javo Music, my man, Powell Gorniak, 8550. Once again, forgive me if I messed you guys' names up. Raider Nation, 9358. Again, man, it's great to be here with you guys on another Wednesday live edition, man. I know I see a lot of people in the chat already throwing out some, stuff that they want us to hit on. And some of the things I see you guys talking about are things that we're definitely going to be talking about today. I tried to download some videos early this morning, but I've been having some problems with the internet over here where I am. So the videos, I think they're just uploading now. Again, man, so forgive me, guys, for not being able to get the videos uploaded, but you guys can check those out after the live show, man.
Shout out to Marvel for finally dropping that Doomsday trailer too. Thank you. Shout out to Marvel, the MCU, finally getting that Doomsday trailer.
I haven't seen that yet. What's that about, Scream? What's the Doomsday about?
It's about Dr. Doom. It's about incursions. It's about everything you wanted to see as a little kid on film. We're about to see. It's gonna be a good year finally for the MCU.
Dr. Doom, huh?
Shout out to Dr. Doom. And shout out to Alaska.
And Antarctica, you mean, right?
Right, and Area 51. Sorry, let's go ahead. I'm drinking. Don't mind me.
Shout out to my man QB to LB. Shout out to Fusion Z. Use Bucket 2. Thank you very much, guys, for coming through.
All right. Well, we got some people in here now. Let's get into this stuff. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick something at random, and we'll just get into it. So I don't know what this is. Somebody want to break it down for me?
One of the topics I have on my list. I actually have the Odd Couple on twice. I've got this conversation with the Odd Couple, and then I have sound bites from Eddie TV, who called out Kelvin Washington on a day where Rob Parker wasn't there. It's two things. They both involve the Odd Couple. The second one that Eddie TV did a video about is when Rob Parker isn't there, Kelvin hides his LeBron glaze less and tries to push LeBron glaze. And apparently Rob G didn't allow it and actually pushed back. So that was kind of cool to see. But the screenshot that is up right now is this idea that the NBA is on hold. Now there's two things. It would be messed up for the NBA to be on hold for anyone, or for anyone to put the NBA on hold. And the fact that LeBron fans think it's cool already tells us a lot about LeBron fans. But the other part of it is it's not even true, in my opinion. Like, I've got a list of names here. Let me pull it up. Okay, put this on the screen.
Yep.
Okay. Is this list of names what we're supposed to actually be impressed by who haven't been signed? Because everybody that fucking matters has been signed. The NBA is not on hold, people. Ben fucking Simmons is on this list.
I mean, that's crazy.
I'm looking at these names, AOH, and I gotta say it's disappointing to see DeMar DeRozan as a free agent, because I think he's a very I feel like he's underrepresented in how great he could be, or how he could be perceived. I know he always wanted to play for the Lakers, and I know he got stuck in that whole East LeBron blah 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 situation. But it's like, I don't know. To me, he seemed like James Harden. He doesn't want to win. That's obvious. LeBron James doesn't want to win. Bradley Beal just wants to get paid to play basketball. Draymond Green's barely a human being. Russell Westbrook, automatic triple. Okay, so I take that back. Seeing Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan on this list is a little disappointing. I didn't even know Kevin Love was still active.
Right.
So Mason Plumlee, what's he even doing on here? Ben Simmons is fishing. So DeMar DeRozan and Russell Westbrook, that's a little disappointing to see.
We don't have to completely diss the guys on the screen. Like, some of them could still be able to contribute to a team, but that's different than saying that the NBA is on fucking hold just because a handful of guys haven't been signed. Come on.
I mean, listen, some of the names I'm seeing on this list don't belong here, like Kelly Olynyk. Who gives a damn where he goes? Kevin Love, like you said, who really cares where he goes? Mason Plumlee, how the hell is Mason Plumlee? Jeremy Sochan, like, who gives a damn where these guys are going? They're going to have zero impact. The one guy that's standing out to me is Russell Westbrook. And the reason why Russell Westbrook is standing out to me, because let's be real, the reason why Russell Westbrook is on this list is because he played with LeBron James some years ago. And when you play with LeBron James, your legacy, your career, everything around you takes a hit. So remember, people were trashing Russell Westbrook some years back. Russell Westbrook. Remember, you had Shannon Sharp and all these guys clowning. I mean, they were literally taking time at every segment to trash Russell Westbrook when he was playing alongside LeBron James. Meanwhile, Russell Westbrook was the only guy on that team that season that was actually there for most of the games. Everyone else was in and out of the lineup, and Russell Westbrook was there taking death threats, playing alongside LeBron James. And why was Russell Westbrook getting death threats playing with LeBron James? Because of the way they were promoting him on those programs. They were crapping on Russell Westbrook, right? Calling him Russell Westbrook. So the fact that he's on there is strictly because he played with LeBron James some years ago, and his entire career took a nosedive after that.
Same thing with Kevin Love, Robin.
I did a lot of compilations during those years showing that LeBron James was even worse than Westbrook, but they never showed LeBron James's F-ups.
You know, it's funny how they always talked about Russell Westbrook's turnovers. That was the biggest thing about Russell Westbrook. And I think we can all agree that Russell Westbrook turns the ball over. There's no doubt about it. There's no argument against this stuff. That was one of the knocks I've always had on Russell Westbrook, was his lack of overall development and his lack of overall, I feel like his mind, his IQ never really increased. But they never keep that same energy for LeBron James in the amount of turnovers that he's garnered throughout his career. He's promoted as the greatest player in the NBA, as the greatest player of all time, as the face of the league. But someone like Russell Westbrook, they'll tell you is a turnover machine. It really is laughable. It's actually sad that someone
I
like
think
Russell
he had.
Westbrook actually goes out there and gets effort, can't get a job now.
I think Westbrook had like half a turnover more than LeBron per game, but the portrayal was that Westbrook was what's killing you and LeBron is what's saving you with half of a turnover difference per game.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right. And the thing about Russell Westbrook, and you can see people in the comment section and people, that come to my channel and people that I hear talk about him, is that he's much more respected and well-liked by a lot of people out here than LeBron James. So like we've said, people actually felt bad for Russell Westbrook playing with LeBron James. And I think that's what a lot of people were saying when Russell Westbrook originally went to the Lakers. We were like, why Westbrook? Why Russ? Don't go and play with LeBron James because you're going to be the scapegoat. And if things go right, you're not going to get any credit for doing this. And that's exactly what happened to Russell Westbrook. So I think we could say that some of this was, brought upon himself.
Can I just say, how dare you disrespect Jeremy Sochan? First time I've ever heard of him, actually.
You know what's funny about Jeremy Sochan? He was actually on the New York Knicks as one of the bench guys. And when he came into the league, I remember hearing an interview with him. And he said that he wanted to be the next Dennis Rodman. And if you remember, he was dyeing his hair different colors. And he was trying to be like a Dennis Rodman. But there's never going to be another Dennis Rodman. Never in our lifetime will we see another Dennis Rodman. So again, man, shout out to all you guys in the chat that are throwing out Russell Westbrook's name, AP530, Mad Dog, Xavier the God, Import AI. Shout out to my man Ghetto C the General. Shout out to Chip Ferguson. I see you guys out there, man.
And as long as we're talking about Westbrook and you talked about DeRozan, let's understand that the reason DeRozan wasn't in LA was because of LeBron interfering with what the Lakers had already had lined up to do.
That's a great point.
Wanting Westbrook, right? Wasn't that the direct correlation?
They wanted DeRozan. LeBron said, no, I want Westbrook.
I want Westbrook. Yeah. You can draw a line to how this man ruins careers. You're looking at it right now. It's like evidence in live time.
And Westbrook's career's never recovered from playing with LeBron, but he got better as soon as he left LA.
Happier too.
He became a positive factor. Yeah, and his numbers improved.
I actually felt bad that Russell Westbrook was on the Sacramento Kings because we all know the Kings ain't never going to go anywhere. They're not doing anything. So this is what happens after you play with LeBron James. All of a sudden now Russell Westbrook can't get a job. All of a sudden now no one thinks that Russell Westbrook can help you win games. And remember, it wasn't just LeBron James. If we go all the way back to OKC and Kevin Durant and how Kevin Durant left Russell Westbrook, the way that he left Russell Westbrook, they made it seem like you can win with Russell Westbrook. But remember when Russell Westbrook was on the Washington Wizards? You guys will know that he led that team to the playoffs, Russell Westbrook.
I will say, just devil's advocate on that, Robin, is so OKC Russell Westbrook was a problem. You're talking about a 6'3" athletic guard that can get up and down the court in just like lightning quick speed, right? But he and Kevin Durant did not play well together. And the more I hear Kevin Durant and the more I see him operate throughout the league now, the more I lean more towards liking Russell Westbrook and thinking maybe it was actually Kevin Durant's problem, not Russell Westbrook's, because I'm seeing more and more snake-like behavior from Kevin Durant, right? But Russell Westbrook plays hard. I'm pretty sure his first year with the Lakers, he either played 80 or 82 games, AOH, while averaging just a little bit more than a turnover more than LeBron, who played, 2/3 of that, right? So I think Russell Westbrook, automatic first ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion, at least. I'd like to see his story rewritten over time. I think he's gotten a bad hand, having to play with KD, who's not an alpha, and then having to play with LeBron, who pretends to be an alpha. So I hope we revisit his legacy, after he retires. I really want him to get, his flowers, per se.
For sure. Actually, here, let me read out this super from Xavier to God. Thank you so much for the super. Lakers fans love Russ. It was LeBron fangirls calling him Westbrook, and LeBron didn't let Russ be the point guard. He wanted him on the wing to shoot.
Exactly. Once again,
point.
Thank you for the super. Once again, LeBron James not letting players be who they are or work to their strong points. And, to your point, Speem, the coach could have done something different in OKC. They could have found a way to make it work. Don't try to make Westbrook something he wasn't. Like, I remember thinking that of everyone in the NBA that I don't want dunking on me, it was Westbrook. The way he dunked was frightening.
Yeah.
Like
he
was trying
played
to
angry. He played angry and he played downhill. And he played, again, not to use the quote, but he played to win the game.
I mean, you guys remember,
he just has a motor.
Jordan himself said that he liked Russell Westbrook. That was one of his favorite players, Michael Jordan said, because of the effort that he gave. And that was part of the gift and the curse for Russell Westbrook, because he would run through a brick wall and he would play at full speed 100% all the time. And sometimes we wanted Russell Westbrook to dial it back a little. But who does that fall on? Kevin Durant was supposed to be the leader of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Kevin Durant's supposed to be greater than Russell Westbrook, more skilled than Russell Westbrook. So he was the one that was supposed to make it work. He was supposed to figure it out, so to speak. But he never could. And what did he do? He left Russell Westbrook high and dry when they lost and blew that 3-1 lead. But then they'll celebrate Kevin Durant as the most skilled and efficient scorer in the history of the game. Meanwhile, they blow a 3-1 lead to the Golden State Warriors, and then he leaves Russell Westbrook, and all the reports say and point to Russell Westbrook not being a good teammate. That's how Kevin Durant let them talk and trash Russell Westbrook. And everyone was like, yeah, Kevin Durant had to leave because he couldn't win with Russell Westbrook.
Westbrook was signed by Jordan Brand, Robin, for that reason. He was one of the first. He was one of the first in his class signed as a signature athlete to Jordan Brand. So I mean, there you go.
I mean, look at James Harden's name. James Harden? How is James Harden still on the NBA free agent list? Like, who the hell thinks that James Harden's going to help you win a basketball game or help you win a championship? We just saw James Harden in a big-time moment, the Eastern Conference Finals against the New York Knicks. And what did he do in those games? He did literally what we've seen James Harden do throughout his entire career. He went out there, choked it up. Remember, they were hunting James Harden on the defensive end. Jalen Brunson isolating James Harden time and time again and doing James Harden dirty. And James Harden having nothing to do and no impact on the offensive end. And we all said, we knew it. We knew James Harden was not going to help the Cleveland Cavaliers win. But you had people out there saying, hey, man, James Harden with Donovan Mitchell, watch out for the Cavaliers. No one believed that stuff. And when the playoffs came, it was typical James Harden. But they still celebrate James Harden as one of the greatest scorers of all time, as one of these great players, and as one of the top free agents left.
Did you hear me when I called out Michael Wilbon for actually saying, oh, good for the Cavaliers for getting Harden? I was like, Harden must secretly be represented by Clutch Sports, because you don't just start complimenting people that you know for a goddamn fact are terrible in the playoffs all of a sudden. And Ben Simmons, I guess, was formerly Clutch. Draymond Green, Clutch. Like, those guys you could remove from that list just on suspicion that they're doing it in collusion with LeBron James's plan. They aren't really free agents. They're sitting there helping LeBron with whatever his offseason bullshit is. Well, we already know Draymond is. Draymond is supposedly holding out to try and get him to come to the Warriors. Or if that doesn't happen, he's going to go join him somewhere else. So, like, is he really a free agent? Sounds like he's just LeBron's bitch to me.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Can I? But I'm sure you guys want to move on. One thing I want to point out that's insulting to the NBA, just another sign of a bad product. The fact that Ben Simmons is on this list and hasn't been an active basketball player for like 5 years and is still on this list as an active, like the fact that he's even eligible as a free agent just shows you how bad the NBA is as a product. He was able, because he couldn't handle it, he was able to just go fishing, literally. And then now he's all of a sudden eligible to come back and play. And he has this arrogance about him to talk about where he'd like to play. And this is insulting because there are players on here for everything that we say. There are journeymen on here. See Russell Westbrook, for example. Russell Westbrook and Ben Simmons should never be on the same list in terms of anything. So because Russell, he plays. It's disappointing to see somebody who puts in the work, who plays, who shows commitment to the sport, being on the same list as somebody who just says, I'm not going to play because it's too hard on me and I don't want someone to force me to shoot. It's a sign of a bad product. It's another sign of a bad product. And I really hope Ben Simmons does not get a home this upcoming season.
He certainly doesn't deserve it.
Exactly.
I mean, the fact that you think you can just walk away and come back when the fuck you want, like that shouldn't be a thing.
Put Armando's super chat up there.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Thank you for the super. It's a fantasy for people like us. I think this is just wishful thinking, but go ahead and read it.
What if Pat Riley's playing chess? Bring LeBron back just to expose the lazy defense, weak leadership, bench him, and humble him all season long. Unlikely. I mean, that would goat Pat Riley in my mind.
Yeah, and if he can do it at a veteran minimum, sure, you can afford that humbling.
Absolutely.
What is the vet minimum? Does anybody know?
It's like
2-3 million.
3 million.
Oh, I didn't
that
even know it was
ballpark.
in the millions. I thought it was still 6 figures. Wow, that's crazy.
Oh no. Yeah, I don't think it's been that for a while.
That's crazy.
I mean, you know what's funny? You also have Bradley Beal on here. And it's really funny to me that these are supposed to be the primetime players, you know, of the 2010s, let's say. LeBron James, James Harden, DeRozan, Beal, Westbrook. These are supposed to be primetime players. And we all know that Bradley Beal has never been a winner in his career. Bradley Beal was part of that Phoenix Suns trio with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker that did nothing. They did less than nothing. They underachieved. Bradley Beal, remember how much money Bradley Beal got? And the man was always hurt, never performing when it mattered most. So it's really funny to me how all these guys are free agents now, when we've all said that a lot of these guys probably should have retired a while ago, and they continue to get promoted. I mean, think about the things they say about James Harden. You have people calling him the greatest scorer of all time. You got people saying he's greater as a shooting guard than Dwayne Wade. I mean, all kinds of nonsensical things that they use to promote James Harden, yet and still every time it matters more. I mean, every damn time it matters most. James Harden is not there for you. Never once, man.
I mean,
I'm
can
actually
anyone
surprised with Jalen Duren being on this list, because Jalen Duren was supposed to be, like, this was supposed to be a breakout year for him, and he had a decent regular season. But when the postseason came, Jalen Duren, man, he really underperformed for the Detroit Pistons in their playoff scenarios. He was not there for them when they needed him. So to see Jalen Duren, a young player, on this list is actually pretty sad.
I have a serious question. Where was Bradley Beal last season?
That's the question.
Phoenix?
I
He played Phoenix
that was
last
my
year?
first thought with Phoenix. Was he not there?
Oh, I thought they got rid of him with all the other shit they did in Phoenix. Is he
It's
still there?
possible.
Oh,
The fact that we
nice.
don't know.
Clippers,
That's
I believe.
crazy.
Did he go to Clippers?
The fact that we don't know is my point. The fact that we don't know is my point, and he's on this list. Congratulations, LeBron James, the king of the fucking swamp free agents agency.
And I think he only played like 6 games last season for the Clippers, Bradley Beal. So this is what I'm talking about. He's been getting all this money for several seasons now, and he
was still getting paid by Washington, Robert.
They're getting the money off of the hype and the promotion, not off the actual on-court impact.
Right.
Isn't he the one that bragged about his guaranteed contract?
Yep.
yeah.
And like
Yeah,
shoved it
in
in
a
the fans'
post-game-
face? He's like, yeah, well, I'm getting
post-game
paid.
presser. Yeah.
What a fucking asshole.
Well, here, let me read this super real quick. Another from Xavier to God. If it wasn't LeBron, the Lakers could have had Kawhi, PG-13, Kyrie, Clay, DeMar, Hild, or kept our young talent like Randall, Ingram, Ball, Hart, or Caruso. And LeBron is the reason why Dwight was off the Lakers.
That's a great one by Xavier to God. Thank you again for coming through.
Thank
Read those
you.
names.
And super extra thank you to you, Xavier, because that's the other reason that I wanted that screenshot to be up. Rob Parker was pointing out that nobody wants to play with LeBron. Nobody of significance wants to play with LeBron. In fact, LeBron hasn't been able to get anyone except for bitch ass Anthony Davis, who was part of Clutch. So did he even have a choice to come to LA? And Calvin Washington was like, oh, but you know, LeBron saved LA. That list of names, you guys just read off is who could have saved LA. It wasn't like there was only one path for LA to take. It wasn't like the only way out was signing LeBron. And by the way, it was not a way out. It was a failure. It was a failure. I'll say it all day long until you fanboys finally hear a voice other than ESPN telling you it's a success. It was a fucking disgusting, expensive failure. And at a cheaper price, you could have had these other players there and had better seasons.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, they could have had what? They could have had Lonzo Ball, and Kyle Kuzma. I mean, that's just two low-hanging fruits right there.
Well, that was the bottom of the list that you could have mentioned. That didn't even
still quality, but still quality long-term young players, which LeBron doesn't want to play with.
Yes.
Well,
Siberius, my palms are sweating.
79 million in LeBron.
My palm. I would like to get to this dunk list.
Can we wait, man? Speed, take it easy, man. Slow down, man. All right, we're 20 minutes into the live. Slow the hell down here.
I'm sorry.
All right? We got to make sure that we hit
digital
on this
cocaine.
stuff. Because when you talk about people not wanting to play with LeBron James, this goes back to all the fake hype that they talk about with LeBron James. Because if he really made people around him better, if he really was that great of a leader, then you would have more people wanting to go and play with him. Even Kevin Durant, who I can't stand, said that LeBron James creates a toxic environment. And what did he mean by that? It's the way that LeBron James carries himself. He takes none of the blame, none of the responsibility, but he gets all of the credit. This is part of the reason why someone like Kyrie Irving left LeBron James. So when they tell you that Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen for all those years, yeah, that's right. Scottie Pippen was there with Michael Jordan for all of those years. That's something that LeBron James never had. So that's really great when you think about Anthony Davis going to the Lakers, who's being represented by his best friend. When you think about some of those names, a Klay Thompson, a Paul George, a Kawhi Leonard, those guys are from LA. Those guys absolutely wanted to represent the Lakers, but no one wanted to represent the Lakers alongside LeBron James. Even the head coach, Luke Walton, where's he been since? We don't know where Luke Walton went.
Oh,
he never got another head coaching job.
I forgot all about Luke Walton. Oh, my God. That's crazy. I forgot he coached in the NBA.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. That's crazy.
So he activated playoff mode, and Luke Walton gets fired at the end of the season. And you haven't seen him as a head coach since.
Well, one of the things that you mentioned is, Jordan playing with Pippen. I made a video recently of LeBron playing with Carlos Boozer. Carlos Boozer averaged more points per game for his career than Pippen did. Now, am I saying Carlos Boozer is better than Pippen? Absolutely not. But he scored more than Pippen did. So how the fuck did Pippen save Jordan when Carlos Boozer outscored him?
That's a great point, Siberius. And you talk about someone like Antoine Jameson, who played with LeBron James. Antoine Jameson was a hell of a player, man. He was a really good player. And this is what we mean when we talk about making the people around you greater and better. Someone, players, great players that actually lift up the guys around them. Maybe Antoine Jameson's a Hall of Famer because he played with LeBron James and he made him that much greater. Like you mentioned, Carlos Boozer. Remember when Carlos Boozer went to the Utah Jazz and played with Dan Williams? The Utah Jazz were a consistent playoff team. They were a formidable team for some of those years with Carlos Boozer and Dan Williams. And LeBron James cannot maximize these guys. He could not make them greater. And they keep telling you that the organization did nothing for LeBron James all those years. When you can go down a laundry list of people that LeBron James played with, it's really sad that they keep trying to promote this idea that he gets the most out of guys. He carries bums. Oh, man, LeBron James, he made it to the playoffs and the finals with teams that Michael Jordan couldn't even win 20 games with. There's no evidence of him making these guys greater. Those guys actually lifted LeBron James up. Think about the 07 Cavaliers that they love to bring up all the time. Those guys were lifting up LeBron James. They were the ones covering up for the deficiencies that LeBron James had on the basketball court. All LeBron James had to do in that series was average his regular season numbers. He couldn't even do that.
Hashtag strive for greatness.
Strive for greatness.
Here, let me get to a few of these supers before we get too far behind. Savior to God coming through again. When LeBron is gone, hopefully his fans are too. I mean, that's what we all hope.
No, they're like herpes. They're not going nowhere.
They will, because remember, they're only fans of LeBron James. So even if they don't go away, all they're going to try to continue to do is to promote LeBron James and tear down the other new up-and-coming players. They're going to tear anyone that's going to threaten LeBron James in their minds, they're going to tear down. But they try to say the reverse for us. Oh, you guys, the Jordan fans, are threatened by LeBron James. We laugh at that. The Jordan fans, people out there, the only reason why we've been speaking up is because they continue to lie about Michael Jordan and his era. We don't have to lie about LeBron James. We've never lied about LeBron James on this channel, on these live shows, none of this stuff. We continue to promote the truth, and we continue to stop the lies and the narratives.
Well, that's exactly it. I'm never bringing up LeBron. I'm refuting things that people have said about LeBron.
Right.
I don't want to talk about him, but I refuse to stand idly by while people spread lies and bullshit about him or about previous eras. That's why I do it.
Exactly. Yep.
Hey, should I be mentally preparing for another 3-hour live? Just generally? Yeah. Okay, good. I just want to make sure. Okay, cool.
Let's see. Johnny Mac 23, 750 gems. I'm not even sure what that is. Let him
I don't
cook.
know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what gems is.
Yo, shout out to Johnny Mac 23.
It's like a Sonic the Hedgehog thing, I guess. I don't know.
All right, let's see. Top Dog 2916. Did you see the news that Curry is getting inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame on Friday? This proves Curry is the face of the quote unquote LeBron era.
Oh, LeBron's going to be fucking upset because he's the one who, the little bitch tweeted, just asking, how come you can't be in the Hall of Fame while you're still playing? Which was a douchey thing to tweet.
You can't do that then. Is that what this is saying?
Apparently they're going to prove it with someone other than LeBron, which is why LeBron's going to be upset.
That's beautiful. I can't wait to see it. He'll induct himself into his own family Hall of Fame or something the same day.
I saw an article on that. They're going to be enshrining an area, an exhibit for Steph. I mean, he's not actually getting inducted himself, but they're going to have an exhibit for Steph Curry in the Hall of Fame because of what he did for the game. So when you think about the three-point shooting of Steph Curry and how he changed the dynamics, the analytical, even though a lot of us are upset about the analytics being taking over the NBA, it's not necessarily Steph Curry's fault that people are trying to emulate what Steph Curry does. That's what we talk about with Steph Curry. He's a unique player in and of himself. I've never seen anyone that does what Steph Curry does on the basketball court. We've seen guys like Trae Young. We've seen guys like Damian Lillard who have tried to play a similar style of a Steph Curry, but they don't have the impact of Steph Curry. They're not winners like Steph Curry. So that's part of the reason why he's getting an exhibit, in the Basketball Hall of Fame. So again, a shout to Top Dog for mentioning this because, like he says, it proves that LeBron James is not really the face of the league, really. He's just promoted as the face of the league, but he hasn't really changed the game or pushed the game forward like Steph Curry has.
Absolutely. And everyone knows I can't stand Curry, but I do have to acknowledge the impact that he had on the game, the way that he changed the game as a player. Now, is it ridiculous that everybody tried to be Steph Curry? Absolutely. But I don't blame him for that. He just excelled at his game. He had his niche. He leaned into it and did it better than maybe anyone has ever done it.
Siberius, I think fans were starved to have a player to be like. Since Be Like Mike, they haven't had a singular player to say, this is the player I want to emulate. It certainly wasn't LeBron. It was Kobe. It was Kobe for a while. You have people shouting out Kobe, right? But I think people were desperate, for better or for worse. I know how you feel about Steph Curry, but people were desperate to have somebody to play like that actually heightened the game of basketball and highlighted what made it beautiful versus the version of LeBron James, which is just football or rugby or Mortal Kombat or something with physicality and brute force, right? So I think the fans were starved to have somebody to want to play with. I mean, when I was growing up, when And One came up, everybody wanted to learn the moves. Everybody wanted to play like Hot Sauce and AO and them guys. And since that movement, there hasn't been really a positive movement towards basketball. I mean, if you look at the landscape of basketball now, everything's a carry. And I think we're all old men in this chat, except for AOH, who's a woman. But it's all carry, it's all travel, it's all more about the spectacle than the actual sport. Steph Curry represented the sport. So as much as you don't like him, I get it. At least it's like a North Star for basketball fans.
I still respect his
AOH
game.
is a woman, in case nobody heard me. Go ahead. Sorry.
I do respect his game. I do respect the way that he played. There are some characteristics of him that I'm just not a fan of.
I think with Steph Curry, one of the things that impressed me when I really started to look at his game and watch some of his games was his ball handling and his finishing ability under the rim. To me, Steph Curry's finishing at the rim, I think is very underrated, and people always focus on his shooting, and I get that because we all know that he's a great three-point shooter with the range and the long shots he takes. But Steph Curry going to the rim, finishing under the rim, is really incredible. Kyrie Irving gets promoted for that a lot. And I agree, Kyrie Irving's English off the backboard, the way that he can finish, Steph Curry is very similar in that regard, guys. And the one thing I think that separates Steph Curry from a Kyrie Irving, from a Damian Lillard, from a Trae Young, some of these other guys that we've seen come in the league, is that his game is allowed to, or other players are allowed to play around and have their games not be inhibited playing with Steph Curry. When we talk about LeBron James and what players have to do to fit around LeBron James, Kevin Durant didn't have to worry about fitting around Steph Curry. He didn't have to worry about Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Leandro Barbosa, Sean Livingston, whoever they brought on that Golden State Warriors team was able to have a role and play their games because Steph Curry don't need the ball in his hands all game long. He don't got to take a billion shots, right? So I think that's really what impressed me the most about someone like Steph Curry. I think when some of us old heads, quote unquote old heads, when we talk about Steph Curry, we often talk about the freedom of movement in this era, how guys are allowed to manipulate the basketball now, how they're allowed to take extra steps now, and how that would have hurt Steph Curry in another era like the 90s. But when you talk about what he's done for the era, I continue to tell you guys, Steph Curry, to me, I'm always going to put him above LeBron James, man. And to me, it was the Steph Curry era, not the LeBron James era.
Agreed.
For sure.
Agreed.
Man,
Tell you what, go ahead.
Well, what came along with that was ball movement. Steph could drive in and then kick out. The Warriors would pass the ball around the perimeter 3 or 4 times. And that was another way for people to relate to the game of basketball again. Let's say that you can't dunk from the free throw line. There's still other ways to be a great basketball player. And it was a way to relate to basketball in the chess format of basketball, not just the I'm an athletic freak form of basketball.
You know, like when we were growing up watching basketball in the 80s and 90s, you know, a lot of us talk about Reggie Miller. He was like the premier primetime three-point shooter of that era. It's Miller time, Reggie Miller. And what did we notice and marvel about with Reggie Miller is that the man never stopped moving on the basketball court. I remember Michael Jordan always saying, I hate playing against the Indiana Pacers and having to run around those screens all game long. The Davis boys laying into Michael Jordan, all the screens that Reggie Miller would run Michael Jordan through and whoever was guarding him. That was really impressive. Reggie Miller's motor, he never stopped running around. But when you talk about what Steph Curry could do, it's different than what Reggie Miller was doing. Reggie Miller did not have the ball handling of a Steph Curry, and he didn't have the finishing ability, to me, under the rim of a Steph Curry. But if you think about someone like Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf or someone like a Dana Barros that I remember from the 90s, that was like Steph Curry. He was like a combination of Reggie Miller and Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. To me, that's what Steph Curry was able to do, transform it. Because even someone like Rip Hamilton, who we saw in some years after Reggie Miller, who was nonstop motion Rip Hamilton, he wasn't necessarily on the level of a Steph Curry as far as moving around, getting the ball, dribbling the ball, and being able to get guys so much space to play.
For sure. So we are getting a little bit behind on these supers, so I want to get to that. And then I think we should move on to another topic because we still got a lot of things to address. Real quick, Raider Nation 9358 with 2 gems. 100. I'm still not sure what those gems are. If anybody knows what those gems are, can you tell us in the chat? Because I am not familiar with that.
2 gems equal $100.
I don't know if that
Is that what that's saying?
No.
Well, no, I think the 100 is a comment.
Ooh,
Yes.
okay.
I don't know what the
Hopefully
gems
you're
are
not
either,
gonna get
man.
stupid shit I just said.
Okay, can somebody read this one from Johnny Mac 23?
Yeah, I'll read it. Shout out to Johnny.
No,
Mac.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Speen. Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Speen.
No. Go ahead.
We got plenty. Everybody can read some. Go ahead.
I have zero respect for Anthony Davis because he allowed LeBron, along with D. Paul, to not only sign with Unclutch Sports, but convinced him to quit on the Pelicans because LeBron is not a competitor. Shout out to Johnny Mac.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
As
Steve, go ahead
talented
and
as
read this
Anthony
one.
Davis, as talented as he is, not a very respectable character.
No, not at all.
Shout out to Low Swan 9. If LeBron goes to Philly and Junior comes with him, Jay Brown is going to have to play with the same guy he got heat over for saying Junior wasn't NBA ready. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Wow.
That's well, first of all, I still don't think LeBron can handle the Philly crowd. No question.
No.
But that's a solid point. He'd have to come face to face with somebody who had something to say privately about his son that he still had to apologize for. These are the times that we're living in. Also, I would like to get the ball rolling on changing Clutch Sports to Crutch Sports, CRUTCH. I think we should start that now.
Could you imagine having Joel Embiid and LeBron James on the same team? I mean, you talk about flopping at a high level. My God.
I was talking about that. If Embiid and LeBron are on the same team, you'll never see them on the court together. Like, they'll be on the same roster, but they'll never be on the court at the same time.
You'll see him on the court rolling around on the ground, writhing
They
in
both
pain.
can't play back-to-backs.
All right, so Xavier to God again.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for all of these super, Xavier. How can LeBron be the savior if in 2019 he got hurt, and after Lonzo got hurt, the Lakers missed the playoffs?
If Lonzo Ball never decided to wear them stupid ass shoes his dad made, his career would be so different. He was such a great defensive player. Someone got in his head and told him he should shoot the basketball a specific way. And it took him time to learn from that. But man, oh man, I do feel bad for him. But again, shout out to LeVar Ball getting 2 out of 3 of his sons in the league. And I'm one of those guys that did kind of hate on him back in the day. But I mean, I like him getting his kids in the league more than LeBron getting his kid in the league. 2 completely different perspectives, 2 completely different avenues. One did it the right way, and you see how it pans out. So again, shout out to LeVar Ball.
All right, another one from Xavier to God. Then in 80 comes when the title with us, with Howard, Rondo, AC, KCP, Kuzma, and when 80 is hurt, LeBron can't do shit in the playoffs without him.
Yep.
But somehow LeBron was the finals MVP and not 80. Sure.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
80 averaging like 50 and 30. not getting finals MVP is insane.
All right. Maxwell Phillip with 750 gems. Let him cook. How am I not familiar with these gems? And now
someone said something about the gems in the chat, Siberius, what it actually meant. I missed it, but it's in there somewhere.
I'll go back and see if I can find it. Amanda Ruiz, side note, what the fuck does Adele see in Rich Paul? Is that a thing?
She likes worms. Yeah, they're together.
All right, well, she lost a lot of my respect.
Earthworm Jim.
That is crazy.
Earthworm Paul.
All right,
That
Xavier
just
to God
shows you
again.
Yep.
Was MJ not a Hall of Famer yet on the Wizards?
Not
I
yet.
think so. Nope.
You have to be retired for, I think, 5 years before
5
you
years.
can be in the Hall of Fame. So Michael Jordan wasn't retired enough years yet. But remember, they retired his jersey before he came back.
All right. Earn your O2. Thank you so much. That's actually my
I like
brother.
that. That's a
Not
cool
many
name.
would
Shout out
want
to that. Shout out to
emulate
him.
LeBron. Gassed all the way up for having to put in zero effort and just be literal dog ass, literal Gen Z super icon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we still got some more here. Somebody want to read this one from Terrence Potts?
Read it, AOH. Come on, man.
Or I can.
Okay. Terrence Potts. Bad. Thumbs down. Yelling, flailing after contact is so trash. The NBA needs to pull a replacements. Get dudes who play for the love of the game on the court.
I mean, that'd be nice.
Which will make me talk about Curry for just a second. If we, as I like to do, bring it back to pick up basketball out on the concrete. If I show up with a guy on my team who makes almost every 3-pointer that he takes, and your team tries to do that and they can't, that's your fault.
Yeah.
Steph Curry shooting a 3-pointer well is a legal basketball move. The way that LeBron James changed the game is through illegality, flopping and traveling and offensive fouls. These are the ways that LeBron James changed the game. If you want to criticize Curry for the 3-point revolution, which actually goes back to the Phoenix Suns with Mike D'Antoni, or maybe even before that. But even if you were, at least the way Curry changed it was with a legal basketball play.
Are you referring to the Steve Nash years, AOH?
Yes, I am.
I never thought about that. That's an interesting point. I want to add on to that, though. He didn't just change LeBron. He changed the game systematically, too. Now, all of a sudden, all of this manipulation is legal, albeit having this loophole of having a best friend as an agent. So he didn't just change the game for the worse on the court. He changed it for the worse off the court as well.
Yeah. Let's see. Another one from Xavier to God.
My God.
I bet LeBron was jealous of
Xavier.
Curry and 2019 Warriors with Curry, KD, Clay, Cousins, Green, Iguodala. With LeBron, it's big 3 or bust for a short time period. That's true.
Yeah, for real.
I bet he was jealous. All right, so we're getting toward the end of these. 10 gems from AP 530. Gold coin. Not sure what that's in reference to, but thank you.
I don't know what that means. I'm so detached from technology.
Xavier to God again. And Xavier to God coming through. LeBron and Joel would be 2 dolphins at a water show.
Straight at SeaWorld. That's funny.
Oh, boy.
Goodness gracious, man.
Oh, shit.
God damn.
Oh.
Okay. Mark Raving Mad, 250 gyms, Laughing Disco. I'm not sure what Laughing Disco is. Maybe I'm too old for that. Okay, I was gonna say we're getting to the end of these. Thank you guys so much for all of these supers. This is absolutely crazy.
Thank you.
Loke19. If LeBron goes to Golden State, how often do y'all think the media will claim he's carrying Golden State? LeBron doesn't carry his team, but he does carry himself very poorly. Absolutely.
The stadium.
Wait, what do you mean it won't matter? What do you mean?
The stadium won't be there anymore.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. JVO Music, 550 gems. Stay hydrated. Yeah, if it's as hot as it is here where you are, make sure and drink lots of water. All right. Love them.
Steve is itching over there. Steve wants to get talking about that bleacher.
I'm biting. I do want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it.
Love them.
Which one, Steve? Which list?
The top dunkers of Bleacher Report's top dunkers of all time. I put it in the thing, Siberius.
No, I did. I got it.
You got it? Okay.
LeClown has the nerve to call himself a superhero. Oh, yeah, we're going to get into that. Just wait.
That's new
that
to me.
is coming.
Thank you, everyone.
let's go ahead and get into this Bleacher report.
Okay.
Yes.
So give me a minute just here. Okay. This list is terrible. Let me just start there. I do have Vince Carter as the best dunker of all time. Okay. Jordan at number 2. I'm okay with that. If you look at number 7, and I'm trying so hard not to make this a LeBron thing, but if you look at LeBron at 7, right? Literally the next guy. Are we really saying LeBron's a better in-game dunker than freaking Aaron Gordon?
No.
I mean, even if you take out the 2 dunk contests that the 3 dunk contests that he participated in, win or lose, anything he did against Zach LaVine, who's also dramatically low on this list, anything he did against Zach LaVine is better than anything LeBron has ever done to be considered on this list. All right. That's A. B, I'm thinking about how you qualify this, right? Because it's all opinion. Okay. Think about LeBron James. Think about how many open buckets, how many fast break buckets he gets as a direct result of not hustling, not playing defense, playing one side of the ball, right? There's nobody else on this list. There is not one other individual on this list that benefits from a lack of hustle compared to him. So to have him at number 7 is just discouraging, right?
Yeah, I don't even know if you count these as in-game dunks because they don't look like they're in a game. He's utterly alone.
Right. Oh, man, that's such a good point. It's literally like when you look at the highlight, it is just him in the crowd. Just like that stupid high school when he was at the high school game doing the little dunk contest thing, right?
And the Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine battles in the dunk contest are some of the best dunks we've ever seen. How are they not?
Absolutely.
How are they not above? My God.
How is he ahead of Shaq? How is he ahead of Kobe? I'll even, and I can't stand John Morant. How is he ahead of John Morant?
Yeah.
How is he ahead of Gerald Green? First of all, Amari Stoudemire may be the biggest criminally underrated person on this list because I was alive and well watching Amari Stoudemire just destroy cats in Phoenix with Steve Nash, just destroy cats in New York, right? This is a slap in the face to basketball. And I'm not trying to focus on just LeBron, but I don't even know. Like, what do you guys think about this?
I think big men automatically get knocked down on the dunking list because they're big men, usually.
Yeah.
That's the only detail I'll add.
Listen, man. Now, I just dropped a video on my channel about this list, and I said in my video that the first thing that I noticed that was egregious to me is how the hell is Connie Hawkins number 40 freaking 1? Connie Hawkins, the Hawk, who is a pioneer of dunking, is to me at least a top 20 all-time dunker. But again, the ABA gets no love. People forget that Dr. J was called Little Hawk. Little Hawk. That was his first nickname growing up in New York City because he was looking and acting like Connie Hawkins, man. But they have Connie Hawkins number 41 behind guys like Mac McClung, behind Kevin Johnson. And I respect Kevin Johnson as a little man that could dunk, but there's no way in hell I'm putting Connie freaking Hawkins at number 40 freaking 1. This is embarrassing, man. It is really embarrassing. People need to go do the goddamn homework and do some damn research on Connie Hawkins. All right, so that was the first thing that jumped off to me about this list was Connie Hawkins. Number 2, LeBron James being in the top 10. If you look at the players in the top 10, every one of them competed in a slam dunk contest. Everyone but LeBron James. Also, how is Shaquille O'Neal number 11 on the all-time dunking list? Listen, man, I respect Shaquille O'Neal. He was a power dunker, and he dunked a lot. But just because you dunked a lot doesn't make you a great dunker. And there's no way you can tell me that Shaquille O'Neal was a greater dunker than Connie Hawkins, that Shaquille O'Neal was a greater dunker than Scottie Pippen. He was a greater dunker than Kobe freaking Bryant. When was Shaq and when did Shaq become a greater dunker than freaking Kobe, guys? This is insane stuff to me. You're telling me that Shaq was a better dunker than Derrick Rose? But that's when they have Shaquille O'Neal number 11. I mean, this is insane. This entire list. I don't understand it. I think Scottie Pippen should have been higher on the dunk list. And where the hell is Desmond Mason's name on this list? You don't have Desmond Mason on a top 50 dunkers list?
Thank you. Thank you.
How do you guys feel about Mac McClung being on this list?
I mean, he's only on it because none of the superstars of today participate in the dunk contest. So a fucking G Leaguer's winning. I mean, like, respect to him for being willing to participate, but you're participating again in the weakest era ever. That's nothing. That means nothing.
I think you should be an in-game dunker. Just so that we separate this.
Shaq is the 11th greatest dunker of all time, man. We all saw Shaq rip backboards down. Yeah, Shaq was 300 pounds dunking the basketball, but Shaq did not have any flair in his dunks. His dunks were one-handed power dunk, the two-handed power dunk. David Robinson was a much greater dunker than Shaquille O'Neal was, guys. Go look at David Robinson's dunks. David Robinson, hey, wait, you mentioned how big men kind of get shortchanged on the dunking. Go look at David Robinson's dunking. This man had a two-handed reverse. He had the up and under. He had the two-handed windmill. Yo, David Robinson was doing work out there. Listen, to be a great dunker, it's not just about competing in a slam dunk contest, but you have to have some swag on your dunks. You have to have some aesthetics on your dunks. You have to have some originality and creativity on your dunks. Shaq didn't have any creativity dunks. He didn't have any flair on his dunks. To be number 11, I'm not saying Shaq shouldn't have been on the list. How is he number 11 above Kobe, man? How is he number 11 above Morant, above Edwards, above Derrick Rose, above Scottie Pippen, above Connie Hawkins? How is Matt McClung above Connie Hawkins? This is insane stuff to me. This list don't make no sense.
Desmond Mason
Larry Nance is
on
also
there.
way too high on this list too. Larry Nance is I'm sorry. Okay, let me rephrase. I'm sorry. I thought that was Larry Nance Jr. That's Larry Nance Sr. My bad. I thought that was Jr. I was going to say he's way too high on this list, but I believe that's Senior. Never mind. I take that back.
How is LeBron James the only guy in the top 10 that did not compete in a slam dunk contest? How is he a greater dunker than Clyde Drexler? How is he a greater dunker than Jason Richardson? Like you mentioned, Speed, how the hell is he above Aaron Gordon? This doesn't make any sense. They continue to put LeBron James on these lists because he dunked the ball a lot. LeBron James has gotten a lot of dunks in his career. And I give LeBron James props. He's a great alley-oop dunker. I like some of LeBron James' alley-oop dunks. But to put him on this list at number 7 is a slap in the face to Kobe Bryant and a lot of these other great dunkers. I think Scottie Pippen was a better dunker than LeBron James was.
And are we really putting, like, Sean Kemp at 6, I think is a little low also. Are we really saying there's 1 degree of separation between Sean Kemp and LeBron James? I mean, is that really what we're being reduced to here? That's
Sean Kemp would break LeBron James. LeBron James
literally
would retire.
Physically break him. Yes, agreed. So I thought about like how they decided to make this list, right? And it's like, well, how many of these guys have significant posters? How many significant posters? How many guys has LeBron James really dunked on? And I had to think back, and it's like, okay, well, he dunked on Yusuf Nurkic, he dunked on Jason Terry, he dunked on Tim Duncan when he wasn't paying attention. He's never dunked on anybody that's met him directly at the cup ever, at least that I can think of, that like somebody that mattered. Everybody else on this list, like immediately when I look at Vince Carter, the first dunk I think of is him just yamming on Alonzo Mourning. Like, and this is Alonzo Mourning, not when he's out of his prime, still a decent shot blocker. Vince Carter just put him on a poster like it's nothing. Michael Jordan, obviously. Julius Erving, nothing. Blake Griffin dunked on cats. He put Pau Gasol in like 3 different posters in the same game. LeBron James has no significant posters at all, unless you count Yusuf Nurkic, which nobody does.
The Jason Terry LeBron James dunk. It was a 3-on-1, and Jason Terry stood and took a charge in a 3-on-1. It's not like he went up and met him at the rim and lost. So I don't even think it should count.
Zach LaVine.
Yeah, does Donovan Mitchell belong at number 30? Does Donovan Mitchell?
Do you think he should be higher than that?
No.
No.
Should he be above Andre Iguodala?
He's got some pretty nasty in-game dunks.
Iguodala's dunk contest dunks were pretty crazy.
I thought that Iguodala could have won his slam dunk contest when he did that dunk from underneath the backboard. That was sensational, man, Andre Iguodala. But I'm not going to sit here and try to, debate Donovan. I think Donovan Mitchell is a high fly, and he has some really nice dunks, and he looks aesthetically pleasing when he jumps in. And listen, that's part of it, guys. You got to look good in the air, man. It ain't just about your power or how many dunks you had. Dominique Wilkins was a power dunker, man. but Dominique Wilkins looked good in the air. Dominique Wilkins looked pretty in the air. And Dominique Wilkins had creativity, originality. Speed, you mentioned how can LeBron James be right behind Sean Kemp? Does anybody remember the dunks that Sean Kemp was doing in games? This man was doing dunk contest level dunks in games on top of cats. So also your era has to count. If you're in an era with legit shot blockers, with legit big men, where guys are going to challenge you at the rim, and you're dunking on these dudes, it has to give you more cachet. It has to move you up on this list. I don't think there's anyone that's going to argue that LeBron James is a better dunker than Gerald Green. He's a better dunker than Gerald. Gerald Green was disgusting out there on the basketball court dunking the ball, man. And the man was
with 4 fingers on one hand, Robin. With
this.
4 fingers on one hand.
Yup.
Come on, son.
There's no way that you're putting LeBron James above David Thompson, Skywalker.
Hey, sports and fitness. If we look at number 9, Jason Richardson, who won dunk contest, he went up against Desmond Mason. So it's like if you didn't win the dunk contest, you get like knocked all the way out of the running, because Desmond Mason's fucking dunks in that dunk contest that he didn't win were magnificent. And he
how the hell is he not on here? It's AOH.
I don't know.
Amari Stoudemire is way too low. I keep coming back to his name. It's that's a little bit disrespectful. How do you guys feel about Kobe at 13? Oh, you did say that, AOH. But you, I understand he's a big man, but at least when he played back to the basket and he met guys at the rim. Like there was still a contest at the rim, right? Like with Shaq, like, yeah, he'll get penalized because he's a big man. There's really not much you can do. But Amari Stoudemire, like dudes met him at the rim and it did not matter. That's why I think he should be on the list. Who?
Paul George is on here.
That's because he did one 360 dunk one time. And that's the only reason. And he dunked on Birdman. He dunked on Birdman when they played the Heat. That was that same play. LeBron hit a 3 right after it. They dapped each other up. That's actually ironically right around when Paul George started playing like shit.
I'm surprised KJ made
school NBA fan. He mentioned Daryl Griffith, aka Dr. Duncanstein. He's not even on the list. I mean, how are these guys not even on the list, man? Because some of these players were splitting hairs. Like when we talk about some of those guys in the top 20. Yeah, some of it's hard to put hey, we're going to put this guy here. I don't know how Zach LaVine is that far under Aaron Gordon, but how is Aaron Gordon behind LeBron James? So some of this stuff doesn't even add up to me. Like we mentioned, how the hell is someone like Scottie Pippen that low on the list? Scottie Pippen was an excellent dunker, man. I don't understand how these guys didn't even watch them. How is Derrick Rose under LeBron James? How is Derrick Rose under some of these guys? Derrick Rose has some of the nicest in-game dunks for someone that size that we've seen. I mean, when we talk about someone like Vince Carter, one of the reasons why Vince Carter's always respected is look at the guys that Vince Carter was dunking on, man. Vince Carter was putting some of the best shot blockers and some of the legit big men on posters, man. Yep. He was bodying these dudes, man. He wasn't dunking over nobody. He wasn't dunking over 6'1" guys. He was dunking on Mutombo. He was dunking on these Ben Wallace. He was dunking on these guys, man. Like this insane stuff. Charles Barkley even. They got Charles Barkley number 49. And listen, I know it's hard to debate some of these guys, but Charles Barkley at his size, we're talking about someone who's like 6'5", 240, 250 pounds, Charles Barkley. Do you guys see the swag and the flair, the style of Charles Barkley's dunks? Charles Barkley had some ill dunks, man, and he was dunking all cats. He was putting dudes in the rim.
Here's an unpopular.
I don't think people. Go ahead, AOH. My bad. Go ahead.
This will make LeBron fans real mad. Dwayne Wade is a better dunker than LeBron James. He's 6'4" and athletic and was dunking on people's heads. People just forgot about it because LeBron James ruined his career like everyone else that he's ever joined.
Right.
And how let me understand, Aaron Gordon lost to Zach LaVine multiple times, but is higher than Zach LaVine on the list.
Yeah.
Do they have
weird? It doesn't make any sense.
Did they explain a percentage of how much they weighed in-game dunking compared?
No, it's just a stupid fucking list.
Okay. Boy,
it's just a stupid
maybe
list.
The real. We just should ignore Bleacher Report. People should just stop acting like they're a real sports publication.
That's really
I thought they were anti-LeBron. I guess that's not the case. I thought they were. I thought they were like not in his pocket.
They have been LeBron partners for 2 years.
They're owned by Clutch Sports now.
Oh, okay. I don't know why that fell off my radar here.
I want to say again for the record, how the hell is Connie Hawkins number 41, guys? This is absolutely sad. I did not grow up watching Connie Hawkins. I ain't that old. Connie Hawkins is a pioneer of dunking, guys. When you talk about the ABA and the swag, the flair that those guys were dunking with, this is why the ABA was becoming more popular than the NBA, because of guys like Connie Hawkins and the large hands of Connie Hawkins and what he can do with the basketball in the air, manipulating around defenders' arms and dunking the basketball. So, like I told you, Dr. J came after Connie Hawkins. Now, I'm not saying that he's a greater dunker than Dr. J, but damn it, Dr. J was called Little Hawk for a reason, y'all. And to have this man at number 41 under some of the guys that he's under, it doesn't add up to me.
AOH, how do you feel about so your point about big men? How do you feel about Giannis at 32?
I don't know. I don't even know what to say. We've given this list too much attention. I'll tell you this: LeBron fans are probably actually upset that LeBron's not number one. They're probably saying that LeBron's disrespected.
Yep, absolutely.
I think that the Bleacher Report thought that if they didn't have LeBron James top 3 or top 5, that people were going to be okay with this. But I can't help but notice that, like I said before, he's the only guy in the top 10 that never even competed in a slam dunk contest. How is that possible? And you mentioned Giannis Antetokounmpo. And listen, I like Giannis, man, no doubt. He dunks the ball, but he, to me, is like a Shaquille O'Neal. He dunks the ball a lot because he's a big man. He's not a better dunker than Scottie Pippen, guys. There's no way, but they got him one spot above Scottie Pippen. Not even close. He's not a better dunker than Connie Hawkins, guys. Giannis Antetokounmpo was not a better dunker than Charles Barkley.
Okay, I'll here. I think an interesting one to talk about is Anthony Edwards being number 18. I don't think he's been around long enough.
Too high, too low?
I don't think he's been around. He's not been around long enough to beat out some of the other people that are on this list.
Yeah, but John Morant's 17. And he hasn't been. How long has John Morant been in the league?
I got a problem with John Morant, Anthony Edwards, and Zion Williamson being on the top 30. It's ridiculous to me. Anthony Edwards is top 20. John Morant's top 20. I don't believe that they're, I think they're disqualified from being in the top 20 because they refuse to do a slam dunk contest. Think about the slam dunk contest we could have had with Zion Williamson versus Anthony Edwards versus John Morant, man.
Yeah.
But they never did it.
People are making lists based on potential. The way that they get contracts based on potential now you just automatically get to be on a list because of what you probably could do.
I think it's true.
No,
if you were ever healthy, if you weren't complaining about the rim hurting your hand, Anthony Edwards.
Before we move on, I know you guys want to move on, but like I said, this has been making my palms sweat since I've seen it. Is there anybody currently playing that you don't see on this list that you feel like should be on this list?
Man, it's a good question. It's a good question, man.
So part of my problem with this is there are being on this list and being a great dunker is multifaceted. Who did you dunk on? How much opposition did you have in your dunks? Did you participate in the slam dunk contest? Did your dunks excite people? Like you said, Shaq dunked a lot, but it was basically two dunks.
Yeah.
One had a power dunk, two had a power dunk. There's nothing particularly exciting about that. Now, obviously, he had dunks in some exciting moments that made them bigger than they actually were. But and again, not to make it about LeBron, but he has one dunk.
Yep.
And it's that weak-ass tomahawk dunk. And one way that I always judge dunks, because I genuinely view Vince Carter as probably the greatest dunker of all time. If we saw Vince Carter do that dunk in a dunk contest, people are going to fucking laugh at him. If that's what he pulled out of his bag is a tomahawk dunk in a dunk contest, people are like, what's wrong with him? Is he hurt? Is he injured? Something happened?
Am I seeing correctly that Dr. J isn't on here?
No, Dr. J's number 3.
3.
Oh,
they just have him. Yeah, he's there.
No, they didn't jack it up that bad, anyway. It's pretty bad. It ain't that bad.
I mean, that would be crazy if they left off Dr. J.
Kobe's way too low, right? He's way too low, right? He has to be. Okay,
yes,
I just want to make sure.
100%.
Kobe should at least be top 10.
I agree.
How do they have Shaq over Kobe? Shaq's a better dunker than Kobe Bryant?
Exactly. That's the first name I looked at, Rob, and I was like, because you mentioned that earlier. The two aren't even in the same sentence in terms of in-game dunkers.
Oh, man. Goodness gracious, man.
All right.
I think we got to go to the next Bleacher Report list.
Let's go.
I was going to say, let's go ahead and move on. So this is what I'm bringing to the table today.
Oh, God. No, I can't. Holy shit. This
is new to me. Let me check this out.
It's so bad. So I did a video on it, but I'm just going to read it out to you guys. I'm going to read it piece by piece. If you have reactions, if you just want to say it's too fucked up, I pass. I get it. So this is an article from the Basketball Network, and obviously it's titled "An Ideal Role Model."
Oh. It's too fucked up. I pass.
Pass.
You
made a video on it.
No, this is news to me. I do want to talk about it. This is disgusting to see for the first time, though. Go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, wait a minute.
You missed it short.
You missed super chats from the last topic, though. You should probably do them before you move on.
Oh, okay. My fault. Xavier to God again. Thank you, sir. Mac McClung is a better dunk than LeBron, without question. I mean, it's a low bar to beat.
Yeah, at least he competed.
All right, earn your O2 again. Has Zion played enough games to be on this list? No.
Exactly. There's got to be some sort of criteria. You have to have played or dunked on someone in a game. I love earn your O2. I like that.
Yeah, you should hear some of the conversations that my brother and I have. We go hard. So again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. There were just a few points that I wanted to get your guys' opinion on because I already expressed mine. So gloss over it fast. LeBron is one of the most polarizing athletes of the last few decades. Legions of fans love him for his incredible skill set and commitment to the sport, while others don't have much love for the 6'9" forward from Akron, Ohio for his flopping ways and knack for teaming up with other superstars. This is the line that fucking killed me. However, it cannot be denied that when it comes to being a role model to the youth, kids around the world won't find a better one than LeBron.
Dude, that opening sentence and the follow-up sentence can't be in the same fucking article.
No, they cancel each other out.
Wait, who wrote
nonsense?
This?
I'm sorry, this is nonsense. It's
nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So the last thing that I'm going to touch on is that's one of my biggest inspirations right there. There are kids that are still looking for their superhero to be out there to come and save the day. So that's a deciding factor, he added. Also, my family is a big part of that too. Being able to inspire my boys and my daughter is a huge deciding factor.
So one thing that stands out to me.
I'm taking that off the screen. I don't want to look at it anymore.
As a father, right? I try not to judge that part of LeBron's life, although publicly he seems to make all the wrong decisions. I'm noticing that he is bringing his daughter more and more into the conversation in terms of where he's going to go. So
shout out to the next screenshot that I want Siberius to put on. Same topic, but okay, go ahead, Spin.
I don't want to steal your thunder.
No.
Oh, that's
sure
crazy. Okay, that's crazy.
Here's the thing. In Chaz NBA, you goon, you douche, you feminine clown, you LeBron James,
you goof,
and things of that nature.
Yep.
LeBron James doesn't care about his family at all. And even in the video clip in which he's supposedly considering his family, he then spouts off a list of things he's thinking about. His family's like number 6 on the list that comes out of his own fucking mouth.
Yeah.
His family's lower on the list than most of the dunkers we just got discussing that weren't on the list.
I mean, this guy's so
disgusting.
far gone from reality, and nobody checks him whatsoever that when he is presenting an argument that he's factoring his family more than ever, in his own argument, he lists them number 6.
So the direction I'm going with that AOH is I'm all for a father being a role model to their kids. However, we don't need to hear about it each and every time you have a conversation with one of your kids or your family. Like, that's the entire point. You know how often I talk to my kids and I'm like, oh, let me give you some advice, blah, blah, blah. I don't go and tweet about it. I don't care that he had this conversation with his daughter and she said, well, Daddy, where are we going? Where are you? First of all, I highly doubt that even took place. A. B, she ain't worried about that shit. Nobody cares. So for you to put this out into the story to manipulate people's emotions and further double down this idea that you're this family man, telling us that in AOH, you bring this up all the time, telling us you're a family man, but your actions show a complete 180 detachment from what you're saying, it just gets tiresome and exhausting. So I don't need to see any more stories about how you feel or how your daughter feels about where you're going. And that's no disrespect to her or your relationship with her. The point is those are interpersonal communications and conversations that you're supposed to be having with your family. It's not for public consumption. And you're putting it out in the public to manipulate. And it's
then he tries to guilt us. And then
Yes.
he tries to guilt us. He's like, oh, I'm sacrificing so that I can keep playing. This is from the same dude who says he has nothing left to prove and he's a billionaire, and yet he won't go home and spend time with his family. And I'll tell you how the conversation with his daughter went. She said, Daddy, are you making me leave my friends again? And he said, shut up.
No, it was like, Daddy, I want to go back to playing Roblox. Can you please stop making me show up at these press conferences?
You know what's really sad about this, and you know that thing that you just put up on the screen, is again, we're going back and we're trying to make LeBron James more than a basketball player here. And they're trying to make it more than basketball. So they always talk about the father thing and the husband thing, and it gets really cringe to me. It gets really weird. Listen, none of us are perfect. None of these guys are perfect, right? When we remember Michael Jordan, the Be Like Mike song, the Be Like Mike commercial, did they ever say, I want to be a husband like Michael Jordan? I want to be a father like Michael Jordan? No, it was about Michael Jordan on the basketball court. What he did, the basketball player, how he approached the sport, his mindset. So when we talk about you being the Michael Jordan of now, and we say, you can be the Michael Jordan of anything. And what that means is to strive for greatness. Like my man Speem always says, strive for greatness in whatever field you are. I remember when President Obama gave Michael Jordan the Medal of Freedom, right? And during the ceremony, he said, you can be the Michael Jordan of anything. You could be the Michael Jordan of teachers. You could be the Michael Jordan of scientists. You can be the Michael Jordan of anything, because what Michael Jordan meant to the sport of basketball was, once again, excellence and greatness, holding a standard. So you can apply that to any area of your life, whatever that area is. But they never promoted Michael Jordan as a great husband, as a great father. They never talked about his kids like this. How many NBA players have kids? How many NBA players have wives? I mean, this is insane stuff that we try to single out LeBron James as the only guy in NBA's history that actually is a father, that's actually a husband. And then they tell you he's great at all of these things. So to me, this is really cringe, the promotion. And like you said, AOH, they continue, and LeBron James continues to promote his family and talk about how much he misses time with his family. But like we always see, like we've always said, every chance that LeBron James gets to spend time with his family, he takes that opportunity to go on the shop, to go and do another episode of Mind the Game, to go to China and do some commercials, to go to Kai Cenat's house and do some weird live stream with a bunch of goofy ass kids. I mean, this is the kind of thing that's going on for LeBron James. So when they talk about being a role model, that's a huge responsibility, because they're trying to make it more than basketball. But if we stick to basketball for LeBron James, and we talk about being a role model for little kids or people out there, LeBron James, the guy walking off the court early. So just off of that alone, would you want your son or your daughter to walk off the field or play early, to not shake hands, to be a sore loser? Remember when we saw LeBron James throw a temper tantrum a couple of seasons ago because he didn't get a foul called against him? He threw himself all over the court. Would you want your kid to do that if they felt they were fouled but didn't get a foul call? I mean, guys, I've told you, I coach little kids. I coach these kids, and I would never let young kids act this way, even though it would be more acceptable for them to do it at this age. But you want to tell me LeBron James a role model when LeBron James has piss poor body language. Body language is big for anyone that's played sports, because if you're the leader, you're the best player in the team, the other guys around you feed off your body language. If you exude confidence, if you're always looking like things are going to be okay, you're not panicking, you're not blaming them, then they're going to feel better about themselves. For them to talk about LeBron James, and for LeBron James to say, oh, these kids wearing my jersey and they want me to be a superhero and save the day. Dude, you load meds on these kids. LeBron James, never forget, guys, that viral video from several years ago where LeBron James load managed on the Laker fans in LA, and you had that father there who took his son to see LeBron James for the first time, and he called LeBron James out in the tunnel. He said, yo, man, why are you not playing? You're going to load manage on us? And what did LeBron James do? Because he's a dirtbag piece of garbage. He started to go and check his pockets. Hey, man, what you want me to do, give you money out of my pocket and pay for your tickets? No, we want you to show up, dude, for the freaking game. Michael Jordan always said, I show up to work, I show up to play and give the effort, because I don't know if those kids are out there. I don't know if those parents are out there. That's called being a role model on the court. Why y'all got quiet?
Hey, you're muted. You're muted, Siberius. Siberius, you're muted.
Sorry about that.
I can tell because your camera's on.
It's hard to find reasons why he is a role model. I couldn't find one. When I was thinking about it for my video, I think I came up with 17 different reasons why he's not a role model. I couldn't think of one why he is.
Nope.
And what does that say about him? What does that say about you as a man when someone can't think of one positive attribute that you have that people could model themselves after?
Right.
You can look at it from a marketing perspective, Siberius. How many people are still saying "be like Mike" to this day, right? How many taglines are you going to have about anybody else? And not even specific to LeBron, but in terms of sports, there are no other "be like Mikes." There's just "be like Mike." That is it. In terms of people or athletes that people want to aspire to, it's just Jordan, really. I mean, it's him and then maybe Steph.
Yo, but like, think about LeBron James' team in the post-game press conferences. Just that alone, when you see LeBron James come to a post-game press conference wearing a soft cast, or LeBron James coming to the post-game press conference making excuses, we never see the other great players, right, make these excuses as long as LeBron James has continued to make the excuses, man. So if you have young kids out there, people growing up, you want to emulate somebody, why would you emulate someone that's never taken responsibility for what they've done? LeBron James needs help. They get him help. It doesn't work out, and he still makes excuses. He don't have enough help. And you continue to make the excuses. That's not being a role model. That's not someone that I would want my kids to look up to or be like. Why would we continue to allow a grown man, LeBron James, supposed to be a grown man, continue to make excuses for everything that's going on in his professional career? Remember, this is a job for LeBron James. Remember, it's just basketball to him, but he's out there working a job. All of us work jobs. We've worked jobs. Some of us have worked different jobs. Some of us work the same jobs. Some of us are professionals, right? Do you make excuses at your work? If you mess up at work, if you're late to work, if you don't show up to work, you're responsible for not showing up to work. LeBron James is never held liable or responsible for what happens at his job. He makes excuses and blames someone else at his work.
Can I so shout out to my guy Clizzy 124 Life. If you can find his chat, he said Kobe is second. Mamba mentality is more widespread than be like Jordan. I don't know if I can rock with that. I think it's maybe like a distant second, right? But Mamba mentality, and again, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. I think it became more widespread after Kobe passed. I still think Jordan is just almost galaxy wide, right? Like, I think there's aliens out there rocking Jordans, right? I think that there's aliens out there saying, be like Mike. I think Mamba mentality is a distant second, but it also, but I appreciate the point because it further proves there's no hashtag about anybody wanting to be like LeBron. There is no quote that people refer to when it comes to playing like LeBron, other than, I can't wait to go shoulder somebody in the face. So I forgot about the Mamba mentality piece of it. I think that was Nike just kind of like putting the hammer down. I appreciate you saying that, though.
Shout out to Clizzy for saying that, mentioning that. I believe that the Mamba mentality is similar to when we talk about you can be the Michael Jordan of, because you can apply that to any aspect of your life to be great in anything. I think that's where the Mamba mentality is similar, because you can apply the Mamba mentality to anything in your life. So if you want to apply it to fatherhood, if you want to apply it to being a husband, you're applying it to your life. To me, what I think about with the Mamba mentality, I think about trying to be better every single day. Whatever that means, you could try to be 1% better. Whatever it means in your life, that's what the Mamba mentality is very similar to. Be like Mike, but not only be like Mike, it's about being the Michael Jordan of. When we talk about that, you can be that in anything, guys. You could be the Michael Jordan of garbage men, because what does that mean? That means that you're trying to do the best job that you can do at that job. We've talked about this before. It don't matter if you're a package handler at UPS. It don't matter if you're a garbage man. It don't matter if you're a pizza delivery man. No matter how small you think your job is, how insignificant you think your job is, you do the best that you can do. That's applying the Mamba mentality. That's applying, right? Be like Mike. That's the Michael Jordan of. So in that regard, yes, it's very similar.
Well, and I think you hit it on the head, Robin. And I think it's more of an apt comparison of Mamba mentality and Jordan of. Yes. Because Jordan of is still utilized to this day. Yep. Anytime there's a great athlete at anything, doesn't even have to be basketball, baseball, tennis, hockey, golf, whatever. The go-to reference is the Michael Jordan of.
Exactly.
Isn't that the point, though? It's like that's the origination.
I'm sorry, Speed.
What did you say, Robin? No, go ahead. Yeah, take your call from your dealer. No, but that's the point, right? It's like Be Like Mike is the originator of this whole, it's the genesis of this whole thing. The fact that we're even having this conversation to this day when LeBron wears number 23 because of Jordan, that should dead the argument right there. Again, it doesn't take that, like we can pull the whole, go back in the internet and look. There's plenty of posts about LeBron saying Jordan's the best. The internet's forever. He's the dumbass that put that out there. Once you do that, that's it. It's no different than, don't pay attention to our personal ages, keep the same energy, blah blah blah.
Right.
The internet is forever, bro. You were the one on social media talking about I'm playing this game because of my love for him. He's the greatest. That doesn't go away. But for some reason, we're in times where people can just say things and then pray that we forget.
I mean, think about Jalen Brunson in this championship run. Jalen Brunson rocking Kobe sneakers. Jalen Brunson having a connection with Kobe Bryant. So you see that the Mamba mentality has rubbed off on players. Kyrie Irving worked with Kobe Bryant. Kawhi Leonard worked with Kobe Bryant. So Kobe Bryant had an impact. That was the one thing that I always respected about Kobe Bryant that Michael Jordan never really did to that level, because he couldn't really, come down to that level, was that Kobe Bryant gave back to the other players that were playing by working with them, right? By doing these kinds of things. The only guy that was really able to get that close to Michael Jordan was Kobe Bryant.
You know who wears LeBron's? Sorry, Siberius, real quick. You know who wears goddamn LeBron shoes? Alpert Sengun. Okay? That's who wears LeBron sneakers. You know who wore Jordans, by the way? Reggie Miller. Maybe one of his top 3 nemesis ever. But Reggie Miller had a signature Jordan sneaker. Come on. Even if you take the basketball out of it and you treat people like human beings, you know who the GOAT is. You know who people flock to. Or you can listen to what ESPN is telling you and just let them tell you stupid bullshit without digging further into it. My bad, Siberius. I can't stand Alpert Sengun. he disgusts me. I just needed to get that off my chest. He's gross. How he moves, how he plays, his mannerisms, his facial expressions, the fact that he wears LeBron sneakers and not even the signature ones, them stupid ass soldier shoes. I can't stand him. I hate the Rockets. I'm drunk. Let's move forward, please.
I mean, think about Kobe Bryant when he was doing something like Detail. You guys remember Kobe Bryant Detail?
Yes.
That's Kobe Bryant giving back to the NBA, giving back to the fans, helping you see things that maybe we didn't see, helping you get inside the mind of Kobe Bryant. He did an excellent breakdown of Scottie Pippen, Kobe Bryant. Remember Kobe Bryant in his second chapter of his life before the passing? He became a great storyteller, Kobe Bryant. Even LeBron James tried to copy that notion. LeBron James saying that after he retires, he wants to be a storyteller. Where'd you get that from? You got that from Kobe Bryant, my man.
I think we lost AOH.
AOH, where you at?
I was going to say, I have two of them added. Are you still there?
I'm here.
Too many
okay.
minorities. He's not comfortable.
Here, I just want to get to some of these supers before we get too far behind again. Star Marvel 7673. LeBron James' obsession with Michael Jordan has a lot of similarities with the movie Single White Female.
Wow.
Just can't stop copying him.
Shout out to Jodie Foster.
That's funny.
All right. AP 530 with 30 gems. Clutch.
Fucking Robin is the best. It's the best.
Oh, goodness gracious. I mean, think about people yelling Kobe, throwing stuff in the trash can. No one. What do people do for LeBron James?
When they break it?
Like, what do you say? And to answer someone in the chat, someone asked me a question in the chat if I've seen any LeBron James sneakers on vacation yet. The answer is no, but I did see one LeBron James jersey, and it was worn by, I want to say, a 10-year-old.
Wow.
I was at Burlington Coat Factory today, and I took a picture of some LeBrons I saw.
No grown-ups wear LeBron James jersey.
No, they don't. I did, however, buy my old roommate a 5XL LeBron jersey because he's a big fatty, and I made him wear it. I didn't buy it new. I bought it used. But it was a big 5XL, and I made him wear it. He still has it to this day, too.
If you travel overseas, I'm sure you can find all the LeBron championship jerseys that never happened right in Africa. You can find them. I'm sure they're on a whole bunch of homeless kids. It's giving them warmth and nurturing. I'm sure they're happy. But that's the only time you'll ever see any LeBron James merchandise is overseas or some kind of foster situation or giving to charity kind of deal.
It's not
That makes sense.
not even a hypothesis. That was Dave McMiniman's story before the season began. It's like I was in this remote village in Africa, and they were wearing LeBrons, and it was supposed to be a compliment.
That fucker's so detached. Somebody probably told him he was in Wakanda, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds right." He's the worst too. Him and his girlfriend or whatever she is.
Stand that fool.
Yeah.
All right, got to get through these supers. Earn your O2 again. Now the only people calling LeBron daddy is Reeves and his little commissioner Muppet Adam Silver. Agreed.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Crafty Cam, never forget when he forced Bronny to talk with Diddy on FaceTime. With Bronny was clearly not comfortable with it. Horrible father. We actually showed that video in the last live.
I remember.
And it was incredibly uncomfortable for everybody. Amanda Ruiz, he's the LeBron James of role models.
That's good. That's
Fantastic.
good.
Well done.
I like
well
that.
done. Thank you, Armando.
Jesse the Glad Saget, Sports and Fitness Rants. LeBrick is the personification of emasculation, and his fanboys are the personification of ejaculation to his emasculation.
Jesus.
Wow.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It, man.
That's a lot to process.
That's some things you can't unread.
Oh, goodness gracious.
All right. Xavier to God again. Man, you are too generous today.
Yep.
Did you guys know former Spur Jonathan Simmons was a UPS driver before being an NBA player, and he locked up LeBron? I bet JJ Redick didn't know that. I didn't know that. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that was an old clip. It got resurfaced again. I think Dreamers Pro resurfaced it.
Yeah,
Nice.
Resurfaced. You're being polite saying resurfaced.
Yes, I am.
You're being very polite. You're being very
import
cordial.
AI with 30 gems clutch. Lost 1-9 again. LeBron is a role model. He's never been arrested and never hurt his wife. Now let's get him a cookie. One of the ones like Riley took from him.
That's actually really good. That's actually a great point too, because you'll often hear them mention that LeBron James never got arrested. He never cheated on his wife, and that makes him a great. I mean, like, how do they even know what's going on behind the scenes for him and his wife, man? But these are kinds of cringy ass things that his fan base says. That's the bar for LeBron James. He didn't murder nobody.
Right, Robin. How long ago did Chris Rock say, "What, you want a cookie?" for doing these things that you're supposed to be doing as a father?
Right, everything that a grown man is supposed to do.
Yeah,
like almost 30. Almost 30.
Was it 30 years ago?
I think so.
Years ago.
Yeah.
What, you want a cookie?
I take care of
doing these things that you're supposed to be doing. I mean, this is low-hanging fruit shit we're talking about here. Just the bottom of the barrel, being a decent human being. AOH, I know that's one of the things you always kind of get on, is just being a decent human being, right?
Yeah.
But that is the level that we're measuring a billionaire, somebody with unlimited resources. We're calling him a superhero because he does the bare minimum, to our knowledge, the bare minimum as a human being. Yet he has the resources and the money to accomplish anything he wants. But we're saying, congratulations for staying faithful to your wife, or congratulations for being a good father.
Additional point on this: the fact that he's a billionaire also means that he might be guilty and we wouldn't know, and he certainly wouldn't get arrested. That's the way it goes with billionaires.
Touche. You're right.
Well, I got some stuff from some people in my Discord for my channel that proves otherwise. That shows he has not been faithful to his wife. And before, I was going to
big time.
Before I was going to release it to the public, like, I want to make sure that it's valid and that I'm not just spreading fucking nonsense. Like, I believe it, but if I can't substantiate it, then I can't talk about it. So I mean, I'll see
better.
You
have something better than Drake lyrics.
I didn't even know you knew who Drake was. That's funny you said that, AOH. No, LeBron's been linked to several harlots in Women of the Night throughout his career, but it gets tucked away very quickly. Yes, Jules is the first person I think of that he's been linked to. I'm not going to steal your thunder, Siberius, but please move forward with those investigations, because those have been substantiated several times. So you go with that, please.
Oh, then I absolutely will. I was gonna say I have them saved. I'm just waiting on them. Center Skuldum, 440 gems, Uncolert.
You know what's funny though about the whole women on the side and all this other stuff? I really don't even care. I don't care what any of these guys are doing on the side. That is not my business. The problem is that for LeBron James, they promote him as a great husband.
Right.
That's the problem here. So no other NBA player is promoted this way. So are we going to sit here and say that every NBA player has been 100% faithful? Is this what we're going with right now? And we're going to sit here and talk about LeBron James as if he's 100% faithful? Who gives a damn? But this is how they use LeBron James' name to promote him. And that's the sad reality here. Like I've said many times on my channel, I do not raise my children based off the way that Michael Jordan raised his kids. I do not treat my wife and her husband the way that Michael Jordan was a husband and the way that he treated his wife. Because by all accounts, I might be a better father than Michael Jordan. I might be a better husband than Michael Jordan. The one thing I know I'm not better at Michael Jordan is basketball.
Robin,
and it's an excellent point, because that's what matters.
His mom wasn't faithful, says MJ Burke. Hey, Robin, it's such a good point, because we talk about consistency on this channel, and you're right. If we want to keep it about basketball, we don't care how Jordan was a dad, and we don't care how LeBron was dad. Difference is, when Jordan played, the fan base wasn't desperate enough to have to start talking about his personal life in order to make up for the fact that we weren't getting a good performance on the basketball court. LeBron fans won't shut up about something they don't know about, his family life. And therefore, we end up countering it.
Did anybody ever say, hey, you know what? Michael Jordan's greater than Larry Bird because he was a better father? Or he's better than Larry Bird because he was a better husband. He was better than Magic Johnson because he was a better husband. This is nonsense, man. But they use this kind of stuff to lift LeBron James up in these debates. They actually think that this matters. Like, what the hell is going on here? And then you have people that say, yeah, well, Michael Jordan did this too. And we don't give a damn what Michael Jordan. I don't give a damn what Michael Jordan was doing on the side. You think I give a damn what Michael Jordan was doing on the side? I don't give a damn, because the one thing I do know is that Michael Jordan never cried and moaned about the time that he missed his family. Michael Jordan was never promoted as a great husband and father. So it doesn't matter what he was doing on the side, because the one thing that we do know is that Michael Jordan showed up to work. Michael Jordan gave the effort. And Michael Jordan, once again, pushed the game forward.
Robin, what you're talking about, and AOH, I'm just going to double down on what you're saying, is because I didn't think about it, so you just said it. The family stuff, the fatherhood stuff, the whether or not he's faithful and all that bullshit with LeBron does not come up until he starts to lose, right?
Yep.
When he's winning, nobody cares. Like, nobody talks about his family. Nobody talks about his kids or his wife or anything like that. It's just LeBron and his greatness, blah, blah, blah. The second he starts to lose, and Stephen A. Smith, that fucking living Simpsons character, the second he starts talking, the first thing he talks about is how great of a father he is or how great of a husband he is. They never talked about that about Jordan. If anything, what we're hearing now is how poor of a father Jordan was, or how his father was killed as a direct result of his gambling and blah, blah, blah. You know, that whole time travel basketball thing. That's how sad these LeBron fans are, is they don't even argue basketball anymore. They're arguing lifestyle bullshit. They're doing anything they can to prop their leader up. But he's a basketball player. So if you can't keep the conversation within the context of basketball, and you have to continuously talk about his lifestyle, which, by the way, is all for show and all a gigantic lie anyways, then you've already lost. And the saddest part is they don't even have the wherewithal to understand that they've lost. They're just going to keep marching on like they've been given orders by some kind of foreign military, but just following it because they're told to. That's the saddest part.
I mean, one of the things that really hit me, if you guys remember Dennis Rodman's Hall of Fame speech, what did Dennis Rodman start talking about? And I've never seen Dennis Rodman get like that. He literally broke down in tears. He couldn't even speak, talking about what his wife did and what he did to her, how he treated his family. He said, I wasn't there for them. I jacked that all up. He talked about that as Hall of Fame speech because he understood what he did, and he wanted forgiveness, and he wanted to say to you, to the woman, thank you for what you did and what you had to put up with. But Dennis Rodman was doing all kinds of crazy things. Did we ever talk about Dennis Rodman's kids? Did we ever talk about Dennis Rodman's wife? No, and he was jacking it all up, man. So much so that he broke down in tears talking about the time that he missed and how he was not there for those people. Hell, you got people saying now that Michael Jordan don't do nothing for black folks. Like, it's weird stuff how we go with this black thing now, and they'll say, oh, y'all hate on a black man. Meanwhile, they're laughing at Michael Jordan's father being murdered. They're blaming Michael Jordan. Kobe Bryant dies, they make jokes about it. I'm pretty sure those guys are black, but we only use the blackness for LeBron James. Meanwhile, he's fake reading a Malcolm X book. Meanwhile, Michael Jordan helped Spike Lee produce and make the Malcolm X movie. There would be no Malcolm X movie with Denzel Washington, directed by Spike Lee, if it was not for someone like Michael Jordan.
And they don't talk about the hospitals that he built.
3 hospitals, Siberius.
Dikembe Mutombo built so many hospitals. Dikembe Mutombo is like responsible for like an entire region of hospitals, and nobody ever talks about all the great work that he did or does. But I have to hear about an I Promise school where the kids can't read on a 2nd grade level and has a room in it with sneakers.
You guys know that
it's exhausting.
LeBron James fans announce every single time that LeBron James does behave in a despicable manner, is not good for the game and is not a role model. You know how you can detect those, it's led with he earned it. They just they dismiss every disgusting thing he's done, and Stephen A. Smith leads the charge on this by saying he's earned it. He deserves to behave that way.
Yeah.
You're admitting that he's behaving badly, and you're just trying to justify it. So no, he's not a role model. You every single time you say he's earned the right to act, you only say that when you're trying to bad behavior.
Well, you're justifying it, AOH.
Right.
You're putting in place this justification for.
Do you need to do that?
You just said that for bad behavior.
Do you need to do that? Do you need to do that if the behavior was already exemplary? Do you have to seek ways to justify something that should speak for itself?
So let me ask a question. And I don't want to joke about age, but I know that you're again centuries older than I am. AOH. Back when Jordan was in his prime, you did not hear, like, it didn't seem, correct me if I'm wrong, there wasn't this forced narrative about Jordan's greatness, right? Like, they just talked about it, and then he played, and then that's all you needed to see, right? Just from a marketing perspective. And again, I'm joking, but not really. His game did enough talking. Right? There was no question. You didn't need this entire machine behind Jordan to tell us how great he was, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, see? That's all you need to know.
Well, that's the funny thing now is Jordan's game still does enough talking.
Touche. Oh, you're right.
To this day does enough talking. Why do you think he doesn't have a media team? I mean, he can afford it. He's got more billions than LeBron. If he wanted to start a media company to change the narrative, he could. But he's like, no, I did it. It's out there for you to see. All the games are available. All the highlights are available. Like my shoe sales are, you can look it up online. My jersey sales, you can look it up online. It's all there.
Yo, that's Pierce, man. You hit it right on the head right there. It's so true. All the things that people are coming out and tearing him down, Isaiah Thomas, Scottie Pippen, all these weirdos on the media. Michael Jordan has never once came out. You guys remember when Michael Jordan actually came out and said something? What did he speak up? He spoke up in defense of Magic Johnson when they were trying to act as if Steph Curry was the greatest point guard of all time. And Michael Jordan was like, hold on a second here, guys. Magic Johnson is the greatest point guard of all time. You remember Stephen A. Smith read off the exact text that he got from Michael Jordan. He didn't come out and defend himself. He defended his friend Magic Johnson. That's what Michael Jordan did. So the sneakers he's selling, the jerseys, the merchandise, the Jumpman logo that's still relevant today is all off of his on-court greatness, the legacy. And I continue to tell people, the more research you do on Michael Jordan's career, the greater he becomes. But the more you dig into LeBron James, the more you call and check the references, the more you find out it's fraudulent.
It's true. It's that simple. I was going to say Jordan's legacy isn't built on fabrication, lies, narratives. It's built on genuine success. And as you said, the more it's scrutinized, the more impressive it is. Period. The more you look into it, the more you look at the individual accolades, you're like, how did he do it? With LeBron,
can I ask
go ahead.
So a question. What does this argument look like 10 years from now? A decade from now, when, and I pray LeBron's gone, but who knows? Again, he's like herpes, right? A decade from now, when the accolade conversation's over, all that BS is over, how does this conversation go? In terms
Depends
of
how society goes.
That's it. Okay. What can you expand on that?
Are people going to pretend that they have opinions about something based on reading what their AI friend told them that they should say? I mean, how many people are even actually going? LeBron fans already aren't asking, and there's a shitload of them. If things continue to go downhill, everyone's going to be pretending to be anything.
I mean, think about the history of mankind. And you have people that try to make it seem like we're smarter today and we were dumber 100 years ago or 50 years ago or 60 years ago, people were dumber back in the day. Meanwhile, they didn't have calculators. They didn't have computers. They didn't have cell phones. And we were building skyscrapers. They were building bridges. They were doing all these amazing things years ago without the advancements of technology that they have today. So how could we be dumber back then? It doesn't make any sense. If you talk to anybody that's around 20 years old, you'll see what I'm talking about. These people are stupid, man. They really are dumb. It really is a sad sight of film. When you talk about where's the discussion going to go in 10 years, hopefully we're still around doing these kinds of things and we're holding the standard. You know, a lot of people keep saying, oh, what are you guys going to do when LeBron James retires? This has never been about LeBron James directly. It's about the promotion and the lies and narratives surrounding LeBron James. If they never were tearing down the other eras, you know, with the lies and the narratives, then there would be no reason for us to be here. But unfortunately, they don't want to report the facts and keep their history intact. So what do? They rewrite it. When you hear people say today that Scottie Pippen is all of a sudden the best player on the Bulls, guys, that's rewriting of history. That's not the way it went down in the 90s. We were all there for this. But these 20-somethings, these 15-year-olds, these 18-year-olds, they weren't around for this. It's the same analogy I gave you guys about a restaurant. And you go to a restaurant, the same restaurant for 20 years, and you've been getting the same burger for 20 years. You can have an opinion on that burger. If someone's new, they go to that restaurant for the first time now, and they get that burger. They just got that burger once. And they tell you, man, it's the best burger I ever had. You can pull from the history, and you can say, you know what, 10 years ago, this burger was actually better. They had better cooks there. They used to do a little bit something different. The burger was better. I can have that opinion. I've been going to the same restaurant for 20 years. So I can tell you about the burger 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Only thing you can tell me is how the burger tastes now. And that's the problem for a lot of these young fans out here. They've been watching the NBA since 2010. And they're trying to tell us that this is greater, but they can't give you any history of why it is.
Robin, and shout out to Meg, because this is it's so crazy you mentioned idiocracy. And this is gonna further prove AOH's point. 10 years from now, as dumb as we are now, we're probably just gonna get dumber. So 10 years from now, that goalpost is gonna be moved, and all we're gonna hear about is longevity awards in the scoring title. So one thing I am worried about, and this is just worldwide, not even just within the constructs of basketball, is how do you measure success? Are we going to measure success by somebody who played in the league for, I'll say realistically, he's probably got 2 more seasons left, right? So 25 years. However, it's going to come out that he was on PEDs. And that goes back to AOH's point. How do you punish that? It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. So that is going to be the new structure of success. One man playing in the league for 25 years, getting empty stats in empty points in garbage time, where if you were alive to see it, you, Robin, AOH, Siberius, we're alive to see it in action and see how useless and pointless it is for LeBron to stay in a game when they're down by 30 points in the fourth quarter. But as long as he got his 25, 7, and 7, that's all that matters. 10 years from now, they're just going to see the 25, 7, and 7 and call it successful. And the reason that is so problematic is because it goes back to the idea of, okay, well, how many times has he won in the finals? If you do 60% of something well, that's a D. That's a D- where I come from. That's right above failure. However, the standard now is that that's successful. Go ahead, AOH.
Like you said, they're not going to know the context of those points. You don't know the context of the fake accolades, like the fake MVPs. Like we all know that Anthony Davis deserved 2020 MVP. Shannon Sharp just used in his argument about why LeBron's time in LA was a success, these fake accolades. And if you don't know, all they're using is a list of things that have taken place. And there you go.
Yep.
Well, so especially when you were talking, Robin, but to touch on things that all of you guys were saying, with previous generations, it was an accumulation of knowledge. I was going to say, I know how to build a house with bricks. I know how to paint a house because I did it. Now It's regurgitation of information without context. They don't know the skill. They don't have the knowledge. I was going to say, I know how to do things because I learned them. They don't even learn things. They regurgitate information that they saw from other resources. They don't substantiate that information. They don't fact check it. They regurgitate it, and they regurgitate it without context. So it's meaningless. It's meaningless to anyone. It's meaningless to the person that heard it, that regurgitates it. It's meaningless to the people that hear that person regurgitate it. It means nothing. Knowledge is power. They don't have the knowledge, so they lack the power. And they're not even seeking it.
Right. That's a great point, Siberius. When you talk about, people like this, they don't want to listen to anybody. Everyone, think about LeBron James. He thinks he knows everything. A lot of these people out here, they won't listen to the old heads. We're just old heads. No, but once again, we have experience because, again, we had to listen to the older people back in the day. You know why? Because we respected the older people back in the day. So when someone that was older than you spoke, you shut up and you listened to what they had to say. Ask a young person right now to go outside and change a tire. They want to know where to begin. They want to know where to look. Go ask a young person right now to go tie a tie. They would not know where to begin. They don't even know where to start. So these are simple, basic skills that humans have devolved in. We've lost these basic, simple skills. Even people having conversations with each other, they have to talk through text. They have to talk through emojis. I mean, look at this nonsense. It doesn't make any sense, man. We tried to explain the NBA to them back in the day, and they tell us that Bob Cousy couldn't dribble. We tried to explain the NBA to them, and they tell us that those guys were plumbers and taxi cab drivers. Somehow, some way, it's less for you to have to work a side job. Wouldn't that be more impressive to you? Wouldn't it be more impressive if the NBA players today had to work during the offseason and play basketball? That to me would be more impressive. But now we knock those guys that they're lesser than because they had to work jobs to support themselves and support their families. They laugh at guys like Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain and other guys that played during that era. Meanwhile, you have guys today crying because someone says something about their kids. Someone says something about their mama. Go ask Bill Russell what he was dealing with. Go listen to the stories that Bill Russell was telling when people were breaking into his home and cramping on his bed. Did anybody in the NBA got to deal with this stuff? LeBron James fake vandalized his home. You think Bill Russell had time to fake vandalize his home?
You think Muhammad Ali had time to fake vandalize his home, Robin? I mean, what are we talking about here? And what I've seen in the chat is a lot of, LeBron's in your brain. He's in your hearts. Like all you guys do is talk about him. What you have to realize is we are basketball fans. We watch basketball. So when we are inundated with kind of the opposite of what makes basketball great, and we see it 24/7, we're going to respond to it because we're not NPCs, as the kids say. We're not robots. We're not just going to sit here and take this information at face value like it's fact. How dare we question whether or not somebody is a great human being, let alone a great basketball player, because we can see with our two own eyes as people that have watched the sport for 20, 30 years, whether he's actually aiding or helping the game. So if ESPN just simply reported on basketball, if Stephen A., God forbid, ever opened up a story with something other than he's a great father or great family man, or I love him and respect him, but if they talked about anything other than that, then we'd probably have something else to say. However, there still has to be a force in place, a presence in place to tell you, wait a second, maybe what you guys are being told 24/7 may not be accurate. If you put subtitles on and actually can understand what Kendrick Perkins is saying, he's speaking nonsense. But again, I'm going to keep coming back to it. That dude makes 6 figures, maybe 7 figures to go out there and give disinformation. He gets paid to give disinformation. Stephen A. gets paid to divide races, literally force black and white people away from each other. Like, that is problematic. Societally speaking, that is problematic.
Can I jump in?
There still needs to be somebody. Yeah. Let me finish this thought real quick, and then please respond. There needs to be a system in place to combat that. Otherwise, it's just going to get exponentially worse. Go ahead, AOH.
Well, you're kind of touching on it. We're not just combating LeBron James. When guys say that, oh, we're obsessed with LeBron James, it's more than that. It's what LeBron James represents. He is a mirror of society. The decline of the NBA and the decline of society are going together. If it was harmless, if he was just a goofy, childish basketball player that we could be like, good Lord, this guy's a clown, and then we would move on. But you can see that standards keep getting lowered and society lowers their standards to follow. It is more than just a basketball player. We're basically shouting out warnings.
Yo, I want to talk about the Bleacher Report defensive players list before, because we're rolling long here right now.
Yeah.
If you guys wanted to talk about that.
No, let's talk about it. Here, I'll see if I can find an image of it real quick and put it on the screen.
Did you guys see the list at all?
No, not yet.
What a shame that Mad Dog Russo wasn't ready when JJ Redick was disrespecting everybody by calling them plumbers and firemen. Mad Dog should have said, what about UPS drivers?
What about TikTokers?
No, but
podcasters.
No, but LeBron literally couldn't handle a UPS driver on a 10-day contract.
Listen, the one thing that can't be denied when we talk about past and present stuff is the standard of officiating and the standard that these players are held to. So people can cry and moan. The facts remain. Guys back in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the standard was much more strict for them. And the problem with that is that they promote the guys today as being more skilled than the guys back in the day. If that is in fact the case, that these guys are just greater, they're faster, they do everything at a higher level, then why is the standard lowered for them? The standard should always be increased. That's why I say they're complaining about playing too many games. They should be playing more games if they're bigger, stronger, faster. If they're more skilled, the officiating standards should be more strict for them. But instead, they lower the standard for these guys. It can be both ways.
But yes, it can, Robin. Yes, it can be both ways when you're talking about LeBron James. Like, that's the entire point. You can say one thing and it be completely different. Like, that's the entire point. You can be a winner, but you can also be 4-6 in the finals. Like, that's the entire point of like today's generation is it can be both ways for whatever reason. Like, that's how far standards have fallen. It doesn't matter what you do. And AOH, I'm going to piggyback off what you always say. If you say it enough and you say it loud enough, people will believe it.
Now, I looked at this Bleacher Report top 99 defensive players list, and I didn't bother going into the bottom 50 because, for my video anyways, because it's just too long of a list, and we could just, go all day for this stuff. But I have, some numbers that I wrote down here and some of the egregious rankings that I wrote down right here that I wanted to touch on. So I think, we don't have to necessarily put the list up. I'm sure a lot of people, I see you guys in the chat, you guys have looked at some of these rankings, some of these defensive players, and some of the ones that stood out to me. Number one, I had Patrick Ewing. They had Patrick Ewing number 46. And to me, I don't understand how Patrick Ewing could be 46. But more importantly, it's some of the people that they had above Patrick Ewing that I don't agree with. And I feel like Patrick Ewing is becoming very, very underrated. And he's becoming like criminally forgotten how good Patrick Ewing was. And the reason why is because of the era he played in. So he's not going to have a bunch of defensive accolades, under his resume. But for Patrick Ewing to be number 46 behind Tyson Chandler, behind Joakim Noah, behind Marcus Camby, I don't know. I can't put those guys above Patrick Ewing. To me, that's insane. So that was one of the first ones I saw that was in the top 50 that I did not agree with.
Jesus. Ewing's behind Tyson Chandler?
Yep. They have Tyson Chandler ranked 43. Now, I know that a lot of us have probably seen videos, and one of the most egregious things on this top 99 list is Kobe Bryant being ranked 42nd. Oh, great. We have some of the top 25 guys here.
Yeah, I can't find a list of the entire list.
It's
That's
a long
as much
list.
as I can find altogether.
I have some of the numbers written down here. So they had Kobe Bryant ranked 42nd. All right. Now,
That's insane.
when you have Kobe Bryant ranked 42nd, okay, he's 42nd. Who do you have above Kobe Bryant? They have LeBron James ranked way above Kobe Bryant. But they also have a bunch of guys. Drew Holiday is ranked above Kobe Bryant. Chris Paul is ranked above Kobe Bryant. Michael Cooper is ranked above Kobe Bryant. Who else do they have ranked above Kobe Bryant? Draymond Green is in the top 10. Draymond
Rudy
Green.
Gobert. Wow.
How do you guys feel about Rudy Gobert at 9? That's the first name I see where I'm just like, actually, Rudy Gobert and Draymond Green are the first two names I see where I'm just like, I don't know.
I can't
He's
get behind that.
alone above Kobe Bryant.
If they have LeBron in the top 100, it's a BS list. I mean, Jesus
So they have
Christ.
LeBron James ranked 22 and Kobe Bryant ranked 42nd.
That's
How
just-
was LeBron James 20 spots better than Kobe Bryant on defense? There's no argument for this stuff. I just don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. That's why I say these lists they're not consistent. Like I said, for Patrick Ewing to be 46th, but Rudy Gobert is 9th, I'm never going to put Rudy Gobert above Patrick Ewing. I don't give a damn. If Patrick Ewing played in the era that Rudy Gobert played in, then he would be the one with the Defensive Player of the Year awards. He would be the elite shot blocker. Patrick Ewing averaged 4 blocks a game in 1990. He played all 82 games, and he did not even make an all-defensive team that season. You know why? Because Hakeem Olajuwon averaged 4.6 blocks per game. He made all-defensive first team. And David Robinson, as a rookie in 1990, made all-defensive second team, averaging 3.9 blocks. Patrick Ewing did not make an all-defensive team averaging 4 blocks, guys. Imagine if Patrick Ewing averaged 4 blocks last season. Victor Wembanyama's not averaging 4 blocks a game, but Patrick Ewing did that. So for Patrick Ewing to be that low on the list, Rudy Gobert to be number 9, Rudy Gobert's not a better defensive player than Patrick Ewing, guys. Think about the New York Knicks defenses of the 90s that Patrick Ewing was anchoring.
Can we just look at numbers? Where are we at here? How on earth is Gary Payton 14A? Okay. How is Jordan 15? How is Gary Payton not in the top 10? What are we doing here? Like, in terms of guards, right? It's kind of like how many players are you putting in the conversation with Gary Payton?
Hold on a second here.
A defensive
Hold on,
guard.
Steve. We got this clown, Travis Rayner, in here. Someone needs to get this guy out of here, man. He's a weirdo. He just put Victor Wembanyama average 3.8 blocks. How many games did Victor Wembanyama play last season, you goof? Patrick Ewing averaged 4 at 82 games, my man. Wake me up when Victor Wembanyama can average 4 blocks a game in 82 games. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, shout out to my guy 24 Rapture. I'm not taking off this shitty Steelers hat. I cut my head shaven. I won't do it. So I'm not taking my hat off. That's A. B. So Draymond Green in the top 10 is laughable because he is the product of the softest NBA, the softest version of the NBA in its iteration, right? He is the prototype of, he would not make it in the 90s or the 2000s because I wish he would try all that dirty crap with anybody, any center, any power forward that played in the 2000s. Him in the top 10 is well, actually, hold on, let me look at this. Him in the top 10, Rudy Gobert in the top 10. Take them two out. This is laughable. Like, it's a joke list. I didn't know Ron Artest changed his name to Meta Sandiford Artest. That's new to me. Okay, he should be higher on this list too.
How is Scottie Pippen still being promoted as a great defender as Michael Jordan? I can't believe we're still doing this crap. This was never a thing in the 90s, y'all. This is what I'm talking about, rewriting of history. Scottie Pippen was never thought of as a better defender than Michael Jordan in the 90s, guys. Never was. I never heard this stuff growing up. No one ever said this. Michael Jordan led the league in steals more often. He's got a Defensive Player of the Year award. His numbers are better than Scottie Pippen's on defense. In the on-court game, the on-court impact, Jordan was a better defender. No one's saying that he's miles ahead of Pippen, but there's no one that thought that Pippen was a better defensive player than Michael Jordan. And how is Draymond Green a better defender than Michael Jordan? How is Draymond Green a better defender than David Robinson? Draymond Green's better than David Robinson on defense?
Better than Gary Payton? What are we saying? What are we saying?
These are the side benefits of selling out to Clutch. Clutch Sports influences these reports, and you're going to get listed on these things if you sell out and kiss ass. But Robin, you'll be interested in this. You mentioned how Patrick Ewing didn't make the defensive player list because he only had 4 blocks per game. Rudy Gobert, during his defensive player of the year awards, got 2.3, 2.3, 2.7, and 2.1.
Yep.
Like nearly 50% fewer than a guy who didn't even crack the top list back in Ewing's day.
Word, exactly. Shout out to Uncut Hoops for coming through and leaving and dropping some knowledge on us here. Yeah, it's an actual fact. Like I said, you have this clown in the chat that said Victor Wembanyama played 65 games. No, he didn't. He played 64 games. He played 64 freaking games. Dude, Patrick Ewing played 82, my man, and averaged 4 blocks and did not make an all-defensive team because of the competition of his era. Scottie Pippen was not a better defender than Michael Jordan, guys. And for people in the chat, I saw some dude, Barbette Boone. He's like, yeah, Robin, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just an MJ fanboy. You guys are losers. You're a loser, my man. You wasn't around for this. And I mean that with all disrespect to you clowns. There's no one that thought that Scottie Pippen was a great defender than Michael Jordan. That's why in 2000, when Scottie Pippen was on the Portland Trail Blazers, they blew a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter. If he was that great on defense, you couldn't get one stop. You're going to get one stop, Scottie Pippen. Where was Scottie Pippen when it mattered most? He wasn't the guy getting the stops. It was Michael Jordan. Everyone knows Michael Jordan was a better athlete on defense. He had better instincts on defense. He had better timing on defense. He was a better help defender. He was a better on-ball defense. I don't even get this stuff now. People think that Scottie Pippen was better than Michael Jordan. Why? Because they're trying to rewrite the history. Oh, meanwhile, Michael Jordan was averaging 30 doing this.
Bruce Bowen's way too low also.
Scottie Pippen looks like he is in cement on that iconic play where Kobe goes around him and then throws the alley-oop to Shaq. I mean, he looks like he's in cement.
I've ever seen. One of the nastiest crossovers I've ever seen.
In the 1992 NBA Finals, Scottie Pippen was getting abused by Jerome Kersey. Jerome Kersey was doing work on Scottie Pippen. Was Scottie Pippen guarding Clyde Drexler? No, Michael Jordan was guarding Clyde Drexler. But they try to tell you some nonsense. They act like Scottie Pippen was guarding all these positions. In the 93 Finals, was Scottie Pippen guarding Charles Barkley? No, Horace Grant was guarding Charles Barkley. But Scottie Pippen was out there getting abused by a lot of players. Scottie Pippen was an excellent, great defensive player. If they had Scottie Pippen top 10, I'd have no problem with that. But there's no way I'm putting Pippen above Jordan all-time defensively. Thank you very much for putting up 64 games for Victor Wembanyama. You got this liar in the chat talking about 65 games. The man couldn't even play the minimum, and you're over here bragging about 3.8 blocks per game. Once again, look at the total blocks for Patrick Ewing in 1990 and a lot of those seasons that he was getting those blocks, man. It's not even close, guys. Rudy Gobert, he's not even touching Patrick Ewing.
Can you put the list back up? Was Iverson on that list anywhere?
Allen Iverson on the defensive players list, man. Stop it.
He's an automatic 2 to 3 steals a game, though. I'd have him above a couple of these guys.
Can fanboys stop and imagine how much more effort there is in a season to average 4 blocks a game, almost 20 more times than the people you're talking about today? You have to go out and do that 20 more times in a season.
That's right.
That's 20 times that you can have a bad game and fuck up your average. 20 times that you have to go out there and deliver it again and again and again. Not just deliver when you feel healthy. Not just deliver when you feel like you had a good night's sleep or slept in the right bed or the right pillow or the right hyperbaric chamber.
Yep, exactly.
Disgusting.
You're telling me that Rudy Gobert is a better defender than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? They had Will Chamberlain, number 18. How the hell is Will Chamberlain the 18th grade defender? He's under Rudy Gobert. Will Chamberlain would eat Rudy Gobert for breakfast, man. It would not even be close, guys. Are you freaking kidding me? This is insane stuff. How is Tim Duncan above Hakeem Olajuwon on defense? How is Kevin Garnett above Hakeem Olajuwon on defense? This is an insane list that's not consistent at all. There's no way that Rudy Gobert was better than David Robinson on the defensive end. There's no way that he was better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the defensive end. He's not even in the same stratosphere as Will Chamberlain on the defensive end.
Gary Payton not being top 10 might be the biggest crime on this list.
Will Chamberlain needs to be in that top
literally
10.
The glove.
Who did Will Chamberlain have to guard? Barb and Boone, do me a favor, man. Please, go outside and get some sun, dude. You need some help. Go look at the Hall of Fame centers when Will Chamberlain played, my man. You don't know. I don't got to tell you. You should have done your own research. Don't come in here with who did Will Chamberlain guard. Go do your own homework, fool. Go watch the videos from the Will Chamberlain archive. This is what I'm talking about, you clowns. You don't do your homework. All you do is listen to Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp and these goofy ass LeBron James channels.
Go Bears.
You know I got to turn my camera off when Robin starts yelling.
Who did Gobert guard?
My computer explodes.
Sengun.
Who did Gobert guarded?
Sengun.
Alpern Sengun.
Another thing about Michael Jordan versus Scottie Pippen. 1998, the final season of Michael Jordan playing the Bulls at 35 years old. He was 5th in Defensive Player of the Year award voting. 5th. Michael Jordan's longevity on defense was greater than Scottie Pippen's, guys. That's just the facts, man. So don't come in here and tell me that this dude was better than Michael Jordan was. This guy named one dude, the Joker, Jokic. He had to guard Jokic, Rudy Gobert. That one guy you're naming? One dude? And how was great Nikola Jokic in this weak-ass era when dudes are carrying, traveling the ball all over the place? The hell out of here, man.
How is Anthony Davis over Alonzo Mourning? Even if you think about them as basketball players, which one was available and which one wasn't? How do you have AD who plays 14 games a season over Alonzo Mourning? One of the last few big men to actually meet you at the cup.
These guys don't even play against each other. That's the thing here. When you look at how many times Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain faced off against each other, they faced off against each other a lot of times. Will Chamberlain didn't duck the smoke. Bill Russell didn't duck the smoke. Willis Reed didn't duck the smoke. Walt Bellamy didn't duck the smoke. Right? Did Nate Thurman duck the smoke? Did Wes Unseld duck the smoke? I mean, did Will Chamberlain not guard Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he was young and he was old? Yes, he did. Go look how many games Will Chamberlain played in his last 3 seasons at 34, 35, and 36 years old. The man played all 82 games, dominated the glass, and was blocking 10 shots a night. But he didn't go against nobody. I just named 5 Hall of Famers that he went against. This guy named Chet Holmgren and Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid don't play. Who is Chet Holmgren?
What else is on the docket, Siberius? We've been going at this for almost 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm fired up. I'm good to go for the rest of the afternoon. Don't get me wrong. But what else?
They got Dennis Rodman number 7. Dennis Rodman number 7. Dennis Rodman is the most versatile defensive player I've ever seen in my life that I ever watched.
Yeah, he's going to punch me through the screen, so we better move on.
That's personally the one that I take the most offense to. And I absolutely admit that I'm biased, as Rodman is my favorite player. But again, absolutely most versatile defender all time. I don't even think it's close. And then to have him
having Draymond Green at 10 is the biggest hedge I have ever seen. It's like they're too scared to not put him in the top 10. But he is not. Like, it's disturbing how off this list is.
I mean, I think it's
problematic.
It is problematic. I personally only had one other thing that and it's a video that I wanted to watch, and it's hilarious because it's Dwayne Wade watching the LeBron's decision like he had no idea what was happening.
Rudy
Which
Gobert.
we know is a
I can't
fucking
believe
lie
these
because
clowns.
he knew 2 years before that what was happening. But yeah, apparently it's recorded, it's documented because he was finding out when we were finding out. And I'm like, what? Where do the lies end? They just don't stop. They can't let things be what they are, because what they are is embarrassing. And it makes the league look worse than it even is.
Wait, what?
So, I mean, if you guys want to watch that video, I'm certainly down. If you want to wrap it up, that's fine. If you want to keep going, I'm good with whatever.
Well, listen, I'm not done. I am not done. Hold the hell on here. This is absolutely ridiculous for you lames in the comment section to be talking this nonsense. And you look, I can't get y'all up out of here. Because I get you clowns up out of here. You got fools named Chet freaking Holmgren.
I gotta reset my
Chet
computer.
freaking Holmgren. You got people out here talking about Michael Jordan this, Michael Jordan that. You guys, I dare you fools to go home right now and make a video. Make a video on it. I dare you fools to make a video. You guys have no clue what you're talking about. You're a bunch of idiots. Will Chamberlain was that dude. The dude was legit. For Bruce Bowen to be number 24, but LeBron James is 22, what did Bruce Bowen at 35 years old do to LeBron James in the finals? You show me LeBron James at 35 years old playing defense. Show me LeBron James at 35 years old playing defense. LeBron James ain't been an all-defensive team since he was 29. But you're going to put him above Bruce Bowen that was making all-defensive teams well into his 30s? This is insane stuff. I saw Michael Jordan cooking Bruce Bowen when he was on the Wizards on one leg.
Yep.
You got some fools telling me, oh, Robin said that Michael Jordan's a better shooter than Ray Allen. Yes, he is. Michael Jordan is that guy. If I need a shot at the end of a game, I'm going Michael Jordan over Ray Allen all day, every day. They know disrespect to Ray Allen. Once again, shooting is more than three-point shooting, my man. So you guys can go to hell. I'm waiting for you guys to make your videos. You guys would never put your face on camera. You guys would never make videos breaking the game down. You guys have no idea what you're talking about, man. You guys are out here just talking emotionally. But I'm giving you the facts. The dude asked me who did Will Chamberlain guard. I named 6 Hall of Famers, and this guy said, yeah, well, Kareem cooked Will Chamberlain. When did Kareem cook Will Chamberlain? When? I'm trying to figure this out. Again, you name me a better center than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar right now.
I would kick these guys out of here, but I can't because they're not on my channel.
No, I'm joking. I'm just joking. This is great stuff. These guys are clowns. They won't make videos. Look at them. Look at their profiles. They don't even got no profile picture. They are typical LeBron James fanboys. All you guys are saying the same thing. You had the guy come and say, Victor Wembanyama played 65 games. Dude, I just clowned that. I said, Patrick Ewing played 82. Wake me up when Victor Wembanyama plays 82 games and averages 4 blocks, my man. Wake me up.
He's never going to play 82 games.
Exactly. And this guy came and talked about he played 65 games. He couldn't even be accurate. They have to lie to make their points. Victor Wembanyama played 64 games, and they cried and moaned for him to be qualified for that bogus Defensive Player of the Year award.
The Minnesota Timberwolves will never make it to the finals with Rudy Gobert as their centerpiece, as their center.
Not. The fact that he's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year is a crime. Only LeBron made Rudy Gobert look good. That's what LeBron did. He made Rudy Gobert look good. And that's hard to do.
I respect Tim Duncan. I respect Kevin Garnett. But they were not better on the defensive end than Dennis Rodman. When people talk about Dennis Rodman and his rebounding and defense simultaneously, guys, that's what makes him an elite defensive player. Not to mention the mind games, and people forget and sleep on Dennis Rodman's high IQ. Dennis Rodman made it seem like he was a wacko, but he was a smart, cerebral basketball player, Dennis Rodman. So for him to be number 7, to me, is, as I said, it's egregious to me. He should easily have been in the top 5, easily. And for them to put Draymond Green above guys like David Robinson, above guys like Dwight Howard, to put him above Gary Payton, to put him above Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, to put him above Will Chamberlain, insane stuff. Remember, if Draymond Green was that great on defense, guys, then how come Draymond Green didn't get the Finals MVP in 2015? Instead, they had a subbing Andre Iguodala off the bench to guard LeBron James. Why did Draymond Green do that if he was so great on defense? It doesn't add up. Where was his Finals MVP in 2015? If he was that great on defense, he would have been the guy that they would have swapped on LeBron James, and that would have been the difference in the series. Instead, they had to bring a bench guy in, Andre Iguodala, to be the difference maker.
Something you mentioned, Robin, that I want to touch on real quick. Tim Duncan, KG, they just played straight up defense. There was no gimmicks. There was no dirty play. There was no, you can count on them for a flagrant foul or you can count on them for a hard foul. They just played straight up man-on-man defense, right? And that's what they were known for. So where you have them on the list, okay, we can argue that. but you have legitimate defensive presences on this list, and then you have a Draymond Green at 10, and that is a slap in the face to basketball, because Draymond Green is just a walking flagrant foul, a walking problem waiting to happen. So everybody, well, actually, let me look. Okay, so Bill Russell, Tim Duncan, KG, Hakeem, Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace, he wasn't known for dirty play, right? He was known for just being a physical defender. When he was in the paint, you weren't touching the rim. Everybody else on this list, they're known for their defense. Draymond Green, what is he known for other than dirty play, right? A flagrant foul here and there, and the spaz out on his coach in front of everybody, okay? And I guarantee 2 techs. Him at top 10 is laughable when you think about someone like a Tim Duncan or a KG or a Hakeem or a Ben or pretty much everybody else on this list in the top 10 that played legitimate one-on-one or team actual defense. I think that's something that's not talked about enough. I'm okay with Draymond Green being on this list somewhere, but top 10 is crazy when you put him in the same sentence as players that played real defense where it wasn't just fouling or kicking someone in the nuts or pushing them over. This is not a real joke. This is not a real list.
It's not. Steve Kerr said that Draymond Green is a better defender than Dennis Rodman.
This is so crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I made a video about it because Steve Kerr's a dunce. Whatever he was, he's no longer anymore.
Goodness gracious. I still don't understand how Kobe Bryant is 42nd, but LeBron James is 22nd. He's 20 spots.
And Jordan is a better shooter than Ray Allen. Robin. So if there's people arguing that in the chat, I don't even know why you give them attention. That's not even a conversation.
But look what the guy said. Then he followed that up by saying, I bet you Robin thinks that Michael Jordan's a better free throw shooter than Steph Curry. These guys are weird. Again, if I need one shot at the end of a game, I'm taking Michael Jordan over Steph Curry, over Ray Allen, and that's no knock on those guys, but these are the weirdos that are out here. I dare that guy to make a video. I guarantee you, he can never make a video explaining this stuff. They come to the comment section and cry. I've broken it down. The guy asked me a question. I listed 6 Hall of Famers that Wilt Chamberlain guarded. They have no answer. The guy told me that Victor Wembanyama played 65 freaking games. He played 64. Again, you did not dispute what I said about Patrick Ewing, though. So you guys don't make any sense. The challenges and the players that Patrick Ewing was going against when he came in the league, guys like Moses Malone, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Dikembe Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning, Rick Smits, Brad Daugherty. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You guys named Joel Embiid, who never plays. You actually named that guy who can't play back-to-backs. That's really weird. You guys named Nikola Jokic. Get the hell out of here, man. You guys are naming losers out here in this soft-ass version of the NBA, man. No one's impressed with who Rudy Gobert's guarding, and Rudy Gobert's not doing anything. How many NBA finals has Rudy Gobert played in? Patrick Ewing led a team to the finals.
The fact that they even bring up modern players as elite defenders is a fucking joke. Being an elite defender in the weakest defensive era ever isn't a flex.
Doesn't that sound like being on a top dunkers of all time list when you get nothing but open fast break dunks?
Doesn't that
sound fairly familiar?
I'm so tired of this crap. You got somebody, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was almost out the league at that point. Really, who's the oldest finals MVP in NBA history, my man? Is it LeBron James? No, it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But all of a sudden now, Kareem was almost out the league. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was doing his thing. Once again, when Patrick Ewing came in the league in 86, that wasn't when he was out the league. He won a finals MVP, my man. What are you talking about? The Lakers won back-to-back championships in 87 and 88, did they not? But you guys are trying to downplay. You guys change and move the goalposts. I hit you with the facts. You guys try to change the narrative. It's the same thing that LeBron James fans do when you debate the Michael Jordan thing. When you debate LeBron and Michael Jordan, they bring up Wilt Chamberlain. They bring up Bill Russell's rings. They bring up Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's numbers. Weak stuff from y'all. I cooked all of you guys. Just admit it. Go make your videos. Tag me in the videos. I'm waiting.
They won't.
Tag him in the videos.
Tag me in the video,
waiting.
you lame.
I would like to see that.
Put your face on camera right now. I dare you. I dare you.
We lost AOH. I think that one of the things that it's hard to argue is that this is the weakest the NBA has been, at least in my lifetime. So I think it is a fair argument to say that these accolades that players are getting, it's like, that's cool, but it's like playing the game on very easy, right? It's like, yeah, you got it, but I mean, was it that big of a deal? Because the field wasn't that really against you. I mean, players are supposed to be stronger, faster, more powerful, right? But are they really? No. And again, I listen to somebody like Robin or AOH or Siberius because we've lived long enough to see both iterations of the league, right? We can make our own assumptions. We can make our own conclusions based on what we've physically seen, not what we've been told, but we've been physically seen. We've seen quality basketball. I've seen Gary Payton lock up guards, small forwards, power forwards, centers in some instances, up and down the court. And I'd rather have a Gary Payton guarding the guy at the last minute than a Draymond Green, who I know is just going to kick him in the junk, get teed up, get suspended, and then screw my franchise over. Like, I've seen both sides of it. So for somebody to say, well, you know, this is the best it's ever been, but you were born in 2009, it's like, all right, cool. I can only take what you have to say based on what you didn't see it. I've seen it. Robin's seen it. AOH has seen it. Siberius has seen it. A lot of people in this chat, they've seen it. Like, yeah, we're old and we yell at clouds and all that stuff, but we have a little bit of background to speak on it because we've observed it. We're not just told these things by a Nick Wright or a Shannon Sharp or a Kendrick Perkins, you know, stuttering through a statement about what they've been told to say. I think that's the difference here.
Well, and the reality is, and this is something that Robin talks about, this is something that AOH talks about, I've talked about it. In order for me to trust your opinion on the game, first of all, I need to have more than just a single conversation. I was going to say, I'm not as knowledgeable on the game as I used to be. Unfortunately, my head injury fucked a lot of that knowledge out of my brain. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't remember the things that I used to remember, but I still have a knowledge of the game. I still have an understanding of the game. And I started a channel. I made content. I didn't regurgitate other people's ideas. My channel isn't based solely off of reactions. It's my input. It's what I think. It's what I saw. It's what I believe. So when somebody's just in the chat and they make some comment, and I'm not disparaging anybody. Well, there's a few people I'm disparaging in the chat, but for the most part, I'm not disparaging anyone in the chat. But you don't have a channel. You haven't made 300, 500, 1,000, 2,000 videos demonstrating that you know the game, demonstrating that you, and especially when everything that you come up with has to do with the modern era, when you're talking about great players, that lets me know you didn't watch the game in the past. You have no understanding or knowledge of that period. Because if you did, if your go-to of who did they block and you come up with Jokic, who gives a fuck about Jokic? Jokic in the 80s and 90s is nothing. He'd be lucky to come off the bench. He's not a legit big man. He's a big man that does, I don't even know. Because I don't watch. Because it's not quality basketball. It's not real. I'm tired of people that pretend to know things. Or like you always point out, Sports and Fitness Rants, you started watching the NBA in 2010. Yep. That's a drop in the bucket. That's nothing. And I get tired of that shit.
Word. And remember, I see the real side is being real nice here. I'm not being nice. Screw all you clowns. And I mean that with all due disrespect to you. For real. And you guys lucky I don't curse. I don't like to do the cursing. I don't do that stuff. But screw all you clowns. Because again, y'all out here lying. You are the liars. There's the lying in the chat. How the hell y'all lie? Y'all a bunch of clowns, man. Y'all weirdos. You have to lie to try to make a point for yourself? I mean, my goodness. I answered the questions. I educated people out here. I'm not arguing with you fools. I'm educating you. But you don't want to listen. So you proved my point that I said earlier. You fools don't listen to people that know more than you. I've proven my knowledge. I have over 3,000 videos on here. I've proven myself because I've listened to people that know more than me. When I was going and watching the game, they actually educated us. So I learned a lot about the game. There's no way in freaking hell you're going to sit here and tell me that Rudy Gobert is a top 10 defensive player of all time. Draymond Green's a top 10 defensive player of all time. But Will Chamberlain's not. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's not. Michael Jordan's not. Dwight Howard wasn't. Kawhi Leonard wasn't better than Draymond Green. What the we do
Robin.
here? And there's no way in hell I'm ever going to be on board with Scottie Pippen being a better defensive player than Michael Jordan. I don't want to live with that. I'm not going to listen to that crap because that's a freaking lie. I don't do lies. I don't care about your opinion. You want to feel that way? Fine. Explain it. You can't explain it. There's no way you can explain it because we watch this stuff and you cannot make that argument.
Robin, let me just respond to that real quick. It's not that we know more than, right? Even though I do agree with what you're saying. Let me just start there. It's that we know different than. And that's the problem. The second we offer a different opinion than what they're being told on ESPN or Fox Sports, we're immediately seen as haters, right? How dare we offer a different opinion than what they're being told by a Nick Wright or a Shannon Sharp? It's not that we know more. We just offer an additional perspective to what they're being told. And if that additional perspective has LeBron James anything less than number one in the history of humanity, then we have no idea what we're talking about. So my thing is this, and this is the one thing that I will say about Stephen. I have nothing positive to say about him, but the one not negative thing I will say is that he often brings up the point that he's continually attacked because he doesn't have LeBron James as number one. He has him as number two. And the fact that he has him as number two and his fans find that as an insult tells you everything you need to know. That's exactly what we're doing here. You know way more basketball than I do. There's no question. However, the basis here is that we offer a different opinion. And the second that opinion is different than anything other than LeBron James is the founder of the church, right? Or he came back from death itself. If we're not saying that, then we are completely out of line. And that's the most problematic thing of this all, is that if you don't have him as number one, then what you're speaking is blasphemy. And that speaks to a larger societal issue, is if you have a differing opinion, then you might as well be part of the problem. You might as well be part of the ops, as the kids say, right? And we have real life knowledge and real life observance of what took place. I can speak on what happened in 98, 97 because I was there, right? You can speak on the 80s and the 90s. You were there. So for somebody, again, someone that was born in 2009, 2010, whatever, to speak on something that you actively observed and tell you that you're wrong for observing it and having an opinion about it is the problem in itself. I agree with what you're saying, that yes, what we're offering is the correct insight, but the larger problem is that we're seen as the problem because we're offering just a different insight in general. And that in itself is problematic.
Listen, and I'm telling you guys right now, people are not listening and they're not getting it. I have never once just told you guys something. I've always backed up everything that I've said here with the facts. Think about just a couple of seconds ago. I mentioned Patrick Ewing in the 4 blocks per game, and I said Victor Wembanyama's never did that. You had this fool say that Victor Wembanyama averaged 3.8 blocks, and I said he never averaged 4. So right there, you didn't prove me wrong. I'm actually right. But more so importantly, I said that Patrick Ewing played 82 games doing this. This dude told me he played 65. He couldn't even be accurate with the games. So what you're doing there is you're trying to finagle the truth, but you did not even dispute what I said. I'm giving you the facts. I mentioned Will Chamberlain, how he would destroy Rudy Gobert. This clown told me, who did Will Chamberlain guard? I named 6 Hall of Famers. I didn't even mention Elvin Hayes. I didn't mention Wes Unseld, who won an MVP as a rookie. I didn't even mention them dudes. So that's 8 Hall of Famers that he played against that I named off the top of my head. You name me a bunch of soft-ass dudes to talk about who Rudy Gobert guarded. Meanwhile, Will Chamberlain was winning championships. Did he not? Yes, he did. So it doesn't make any sense. I've always explained my opinions, and I've given you guys the facts. You got people out here talking about, yeah, this guy just talking. He's just yelling. He's lying. But you can't say where I lied. I called out your lies, and I exposed your lies. You guys can't do that to what I said, because I never lied about it. I don't have to lie for these guys. I'm giving you the facts of what they did, who they played against, and how the era was played. There's no way you can argue that Rudy Gobert is a greater defender than Will Chamberlain. There's no way you can argue he's a greater defender than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Michael Jordan. It doesn't make any sense. He's not better than Dwight Howard, Rudy Gobert. Are you kidding me right now? So again, I backed everything that I said with the facts. So it doesn't make, you had a guy tell me that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was at the end of his career when Patrick Ewing came in. Well, how old was Will Chamberlain when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar came in? You guys can't have it both ways. You guys are weird, man. All right? I can't do this anymore, all right? Because it's just really sad that we get these people in here goofing it up that don't want to be educated. They just want to be emotional. I'm giving you the education. Open your freaking ears.
All right, guys, I got to get to these supers. We are
get to those supers, Siberians.
I was gonna say some of these came in over a fucking hour ago.
Damn it, the fans want to hear from you, Siberius.
All right, Ajax 850. Fake news. They do shout LeBron when a green dill gets thrown up on the NBA court nowhere near the basket. Oh, wow. Xavier to God coming through again. LeBron is known for not being loyal and staying. I mean, that's what he's probably most known for. M. Hunter Stevie 2081. I'm glad you brought up Chris Rock. Wow, yeah, we talked about that a long time ago. I'm sorry, guys. The things he'd say to LeBron, I can just him calling him a low expectation having motherfucker, which is exactly what he would call him. Amanda Rui, Savannah James, incoming tell-all book, Court Vision, home blindness.
That's good.
That's good. Wow, that's good. Rick Kramer, 4764. LeBron is a low IQ narcissist, which is a bad combination when you're trying to sell BS to one person, let alone the world. For sure. Mark Raving Mad, downgrade Pippen to say Detlef Shrimp, and MJ still has 6 rings. Make similar downgrades for Wade, Kyrie, and Davis, and LeBron has no rings. Absolutely 100%. Jay Swish, where is Mark Eaton? He better be on the fucking list. Like, he may not be in the top 25, but he better be.
Mark Eaton is number 26 on the list. They have him above Patrick Ewing. Listen, I like Mark Eaton. I respect Mark Eaton, man. But he wasn't better than Patrick Ewing on defense.
Last one here, Red Factor 216. Michael Cooper is missing. List dismissed. The egregious...
Michael Cooper was number 28.
28? Okay. Yeah, I wish I could have found the entire list, like just listed out as names. But I
They had Victor Wembanyama number 36. They had Bam Adebayo number 38. They had Walt Clyde Frazier number 40. They had Andre Kirilenko number 39. Alvin Robertson number 37. How was LeBron James above Alvin Robertson on defense? This is absolutely insane. They had Chris Paul number 29. Jason Kidd was number 32. They had Sidney Moncrief number 27. They had
wait, Robin, how do you feel about the real quick? Is Chris Paul too high or too low?
I think Chris Paul is in a decent spot. He's number 29. I think Chris Paul was a really good defensive player, but I would have personally put Jason Kidd above Chris Paul on defense.
I like that. Yes, I agree.
But they had Chris Paul a couple of spots ahead of Jason Kidd. No need to get crazy, but that's what I would have done.
Wow, I just realized Jason Kidd's not in this list. That's
Andre Iguodala was number 34. I told you they have Joakim Noah above Kobe Bryant at number 41.
That's laughable.
I mean, I saw somebody say Jerry West was 68.
Yeah, how the hell is Jerry West number 68? Like what are we doing here, man? You know why?
Yeah,
because he was a slow, unathletic white guy. That's why he's at number 68. My God, man. Even though he had to guard guys like Oscar freaking Robertson all day, every day in the goddamn court. But let's just throw Jerry West nowhere. I mean, my goodness, man. He's one of the greatest two-way players in the history of the game, Jerry West.
Yeah. It's crazy. So I'm going to ask, I mean, do you guys want to wrap it up? We've been at it for a while, or do you want to watch this video?
If we don't wrap it up, I'm going to pass the hell out.
I kind of want to watch Robin pass out. I think we should keep going.
Insane, man. Freaking insane to me. I'm trying to educate people here. I'm trying to give y'all the facts, man. I don't gain anything for lying for these guys. I'm not lying for Michael Jordan or Will Chamberlain or Kobe or Gary Payton or David Robinson or Hakeem Olajuwon or Patrick Ewing. Not because I'm a New York Knicks fan and I grew up watching Patrick Ewing. I'm giving you the facts here. You can feel how you want to feel about the facts. The one thing you can't tell me is I'm lying to you.
Let's please go on. He's on one. I need to see this through. Yes, let's keep going.
I gotta go, guys. I gotta roll, man.
Oh, he's gotta go.
And I'm gonna die here.
Okay. Go ahead. I mean, we've been at it for almost 3 hours.
I mean, you guys can keep going. I gotta roll, though.
He's gonna die. He said he's gonna die.
I mean, the reality.
I don't want to watch him die. That's all.
These fine. Bleacher Report lists are just toxic as hell. And anytime you post one of them, there's going to be jackasses in the comments that are trying to defend it. They're going to say that it's wrong because players that we rank lower, they rank higher. Like it's nonsense. I mean, we're giving this list way too much credit and attention, far more than it deserves, because it's an ass list. We've already proven that 100 times over. It's a joke. Whoever made this list doesn't know basketball, doesn't watch basketball.
Who did make this list?
Who did make this list is fucking insane.
What is the resource of this list?
They need to put their faces on this list. Anybody that was part of this panel needs to put their names and faces on this crap. You got to own up to it because it's insane. You're not educating anybody out here. I don't have a problem with people's opinions, but you must be able to explain your opinion. You must be able to back your opinion up with facts, with reality. And this is not reality. There's no way I'm putting Rudy Gobert even above Dwight Howard. No way, man. No freaking way.
No.
Here's a crazy question, Robin. Let me ask you this, just for the sake of keeping this content going. Do you have Rudy Gobert over Draymond Green?
That's actually a good question right there. That's actually a good question. I would give Draymond Green the edge over Rudy Gobert because Draymond Green was part of the championship team.
The championship team that's a great point. I can't argue that.
And the Golden State Warriors were an excellent defensive team when they were winning.
How about you, Siberius? What do you think? Or AOH? How do you feel about Rudy Gobert over? So just for clarification, Draymond Green at 10 is way too high. Like I agree. Yeah. Like no question.
I would put Draymond Green somewhere around 20, 25, top 25 on defense. I would say somewhere to me, the max that he could be. But for him to be, I mean, look at the guys' names that he's next to. Bill Russell, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Hakeem Olajuwon, Ben Wallace, Mutombo, Rodman, Pippen, Gobert. What?
Jesse Glad Saget had. Hold on, let me go back to this. Shout out to Jesse Glad Saget. I need to shout you out more, actually. Draymond over Rudy easily. I kind of have Rudy over Draymond. Maybe that's because I don't like Draymond Green, but Rudy Gobert, he is the punchline of. He's been the punchline of the NBA probably since COVID. And he still is a defensive presence, has been a defensive presence this entire time versus Draymond Green, who's just a dirty player and sits moving screens up and down the court. That's why I kind of give the edge to Rudy Gobert because he's been fighting an uphill battle his entire career. He's had very little in terms of help versus Draymond Green, who's had the best shooter of all time and the second best shooter of all time in Klay Thompson. That's why I'm kind of giving the edge to Rudy Gobert.
Listen, I think that Klay Thompson has become a little bit overrated on the defensive end all time. I mean, Dan Marley has made more all defensive teams than Klay Thompson has. And people tell me Dan Marley was just some bum-ass white dude that played in the 90s, man.
That's
so
crazy.
I don't believe that Klay Thompson is as great on defense as people say. I think he was good on defense. But Draymond Green Draymond Green's a good defensive player. I'm not saying that he wasn't a great or good defensive player for his era. But that's the problem, for his era. And again, the Golden State Warriors were a very good defensive team. They didn't just win because Steph Curry was scoring all these points. They won because they played a level of defense also. So I have to give Draymond Green the edge over Rudy Gobert. I mean, think about Rudy Gobert. He really only looked great against who? LeBron James.
It's true.
But again, I told you guys, I'm on vacation, man. So I got to get back to my family. Like I said, this is insane stuff. This list is crazy, but I think we did a really good job of covering a lot of the names in the top 50. Like I said, if you guys go and look at the top, it's 99 players, guys. So there's a lot of names that we didn't mention that were way lower, that were, outside the top 50. So if you guys want to go and take a look at this stuff, you can have a laugh. It just doesn't make any sense. I told you, it's the inconsistency of the list. It's very inconsistent.
Absolutely. Well, I was going to say, I think now is a good time to wrap it up. I did just want to acknowledge the last super here. Love them skins 1982. Put one in chat for Robin to stay. But yeah, I think it's a good time to wrap it up. I'm going to say we covered a lot. And yeah, I don't really think there's a lot more to say about this list without all of us getting more angry. So I think it's a good time to shut it down.
Yep.
But I want to thank everyone for the supers. I mean, you guys absolutely bombarded us. Chat, thank you so much. AOH, Sports and Fitness Rant, Speam, always great to join you guys on these Wednesday lives. I appreciate you guys doing it so much. And we will catch you next Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. You guys have a good one, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, man.
Appreciate y'all, man. Hey, shout out to Robin for being a good father and a great husband. You need to be recognized for that. I just need to acknowledge that. Shout out to AOH. Shout out to Siberius. Good to see you on screen for the first time. You're a handsome man. You should do it more. Appreciate the chat.
Word.
All right. Later, guys.
Deuces.